And a very pleasant good afternoon and welcome, baseball fans, to another edition of Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Falcons have their final home game for the next about 2 weeks today as they take on the post-58 Crushers here at Kiger Stadium. My name is Josh Eldridge. Thank you so much for being with us today. It is another beautiful day for baseball in the Klamath Basin. Hardly a cloud in sight and wind blowing calmly to straightaway center field as we've got a single 9-inning affair between the Falcons and the Crushers today. The Falcons enter play 5-2, most recently coming off a win against the defending state champion Central Point Comets. For post 58, they are 4-4, most recently for them coming off a win as well against the Salem Dodgers, a 12-1 win for them. That came yesterday. But now here at Kiger Stadium, ahead of us lays a single 9-inning game for Youth Baseball Appreciation Night here at Kiger. Tell you what that means, and in just a little bit, we'll also introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams, take a look at their season so far as well. So stay tuned for all that. Just about 10 minutes away from first pitch here at Kiger Stadium on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Josh Eldridge back with you here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. Our coverage of Klamath Falls Falcons coming to you live from Kiger Stadium. Today the Falcons hosting the post-58 Crushers. Klamath Falls Falcons coming off a win in their last time out, hoping to grab a win. This is the final game of a 4-game homestand for the Falcons and their final game at home for the month of June. They won't be seen here again until July 1st, hoping to get a win on Youth Baseball Appreciation Night. We've got Little Leaguers in attendance today in their jerseys, in their caps. They're going to take us out to the ball game during the 7th inning stretch tonight. It's going to be a fun night here at Kiger Stadium, so if you're cruising around, come on out. Low admission, concession fare, and great baseball lays ahead. If you're cruising on over to the stadium, let's introduce you to the starting lineups. First for the visitors today, the post-58 Crushers from Staten. Leading off for them, the center fielder Colton Connolly. The designated hitter Wade Bergdahl bats second. The third baseman Sawyer Enderl bats third. Wyatt Postlethwaite is the catcher. He bats fourth. Colson Swartz, the second baseman, bats fifth. Trey Karstensen, he bats seventh in right field. Brody Panook is the first baseman. He hits seventh. Miles Emmert, the eighth batter, is in left field. And the shortstop, Oliver Hunt, bats ninth for the Crushers. On the mound for them will be Slade Hudson. We'll take a look at him a little bit later on once he takes the field. He'll be going up against a Falcons lineup that goes like this. Max Price, the center fielder, leads off. The shortstop, Connor Shively, bats second. Jacoby Takini, the catcher, hits third. Colin Takini, the second baseman, hits fourth. P.J. Safford batting fifth at third base. Ian Meyer, the first baseman, hits sixth. Corbin Hamilton, the designated hitter, batting seventh. Ryan Glidden in right field hits eighth. And Ryan Douglas rounds out the Falcons order. He is in left field for Coach Sean Teeter's squad. And on the mound for the Falcons is going to be Hunter Glidden. And again, we'll take a look at the stats for him in just a little while as well. Post 58 from the Staten area, and mostly made up of Staten High School kids. You've got a couple Silverton kids, McNary, Kennedy High School as well as some returning college players from the NWAC. We'll introduce you to the entire team as they come along and get up in the batting order, but should be a good competitive game today. Again, the Falcons coming off a win against the defending Oregon State champs at the single-A level against Crater 5-4 in walk-off fashion. This was back on Sunday night. And we will step aside real briefly here for the national anthem. Catch you up on everything else in just a bit here on mybasin.com.
It starts to warm up outside, it's time to tackle your lawn. And Kyle's Lawn Care is who to contact. Kyle's been doing lawn care in Klamath Falls for over 9 years. He offers a variety of services designed to make your life easier. Kyle's Lawn Care offers weekly mowing jobs, which includes mowing, edging, and blowing off sidewalks, snow removal, big cleanup jobs, dump runs, and more. At Kyle's Lawn Care, they strive to give each job their all and go the extra mile to exceed their customers' expectations. To get an estimate, you can call or text 541-281-3623. Kyle's Lawn Care.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
Getting set for the top of the first inning, about to get rolling. The Falcons hosting the post 58 Crushers, and Hunter Glidden, the right-hander, getting the start for the Falcons today. This will be his second start of the season. His first start came back on June 13th against the Roseburg Pepsi when he pitched 5 innings in that game, picking up the win. He allowed 2 hits and struck out 4 batters. That was a game that the Falcons would go on to win back on June 13th, 15-0. I'm sure Hunter would love the same run support that he got in that contest here today. But this post-58 team, a little bit more experienced than that Roseburg squad that he faced earlier in the season. Again, there are 4 players for post-58 that are coming out of their first year of college baseball. Handful of class of 25 guys as well, but they have some youth too. But of course the Falcons, that's going to be the story of the season, is their youth and how these guys can develop over the course of this summer. Again, final home game today, but the Falcons will be back to area play tomorrow against Grants Pass. A doubleheader from Agnew Lytle Field starts at 5, and then early in the day on Saturday, the season continues at South Medford. That's an earlier game time, high noon start there on Saturday. We'll talk more about that, of course, as we move along today. As we get ready for the leadoff hitter to step in, it's Colton Connolly, the center fielder. We'll get ready to lead things off for Post 58. Again, thank you for joining us today as we get the scoreboard up for you there on mybasin.com. Remember, every game this season of Falcons baseball is free this year to watch on mybasin.com, although when we've got home games like this, as much as I'd love an audience online, would certainly love to have you here in person at Kiger Stadium, really trying to fill the grandstands this year. So especially when we are at home, won't be back until July 1st, but hope to see you at some point at the stadium this year. Colton Connolly stepping in, the right-handed batter from Staten High School. Hunter Glidden delivers the first pitch, and it is ruled a ball. Maybe a touch high. The count is 1-0. First pitch right at 6:30. Scheduled start time was right then. It's a beautiful day. Like I said, almost no clouds in sight. 76 degrees as the 1-0 pitch finds the outside. The count is 1-1. Our vantage point here in the press box at Kiger Stadium, facing pretty much directly east. And that wind blowing to straightaway center back towards South 6th Street. 1-1 misses high. The count is 2-1 to Colton Connolly. Connolly leads the team in hitting this year for the Crushers. Bats .542 coming into the game today. He gets on base near 60% of the time. Here he sends a line drive to short, one hop to Shively. He makes the throw to first in time, and that is one away in the top of the first inning. Going around the diamond for the Klamath Falls Falcons, Jacoby Takini is behind the dish. At third, it's P.J. Safford. Connor Shively patrols shortstop. Colin Takini at second with Ian Meyer manning first base. In the outfield, from left to right, it's Ryan Douglas, Max Price, and Ryan Glidden. Wade Bergdahl steps in now for the Crushers. That is called a strike. Bergdahl, the designated hitter today, of course, hitting for the pitcher Slade Hudson. Pitch on the way, and is swung on and missed. The count is 0-2 to Bergdahl. Tall batting stance from the right side. Glidden trying to set him down on strikes. Here comes the 0-2, and it's fouled off by Bergdahl. The count will remain 0-2. On deck is Sawyer Enderl. Like I said earlier, Post 58 coming off a win in their most recent doubleheader against the Post 136 Dodgers, 12-1 and 12-2. Those games were played yesterday. 4-4 entering play today against the Falcons. The 0-2 misses high, the count of ball, and 2 strikes to Bergdahl. They also beat the Dodgers earlier in the season 25-0. Their only win against a team not named the Dodgers was back on June 7th. As the pitch misses high and in, 2-2 to Bergdahl. Won their second game of the season, 8-7. But it's been kind of extreme games one way or the other, aside from that one-run victory for Post 58 this year. The 2-2 fouled off. Count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wide margins of defeat or victory. Like I said, 12-1 and 12-2 in their last 2 games. Before that, they lost to Redmond 11-0. Then you had that 25-0 win against the 136 Dodgers. As Glidden readies again for the 2-2. That one misses in the dirt, and the count is full. Couple of losses to the Wet Sox, 15-1 and 11-2. And their first game of the season was 11-1 loss. So it's really hard to gauge what version you might get of these Crushers on any given day. Glidden delivers the 3-2 pitch, misses high, and a walk delivered to Bergdahl. Good at bat for him. Was down 0-2 in the count and worked it back to a walk. And so, Sawyer Enderly now batting for the Crushers. He is the starting third baseman for Post 58, and he'll hit with a runner on first and 1 out. Glidden takes a look at the runner at first. Bergdahl before coming set. Decent lead off of first for Bergdahl, and the pitch home is going to miss upstairs. And the count is 1-0. We've got time at the plate as the catcher Takini goes out and has a visit with Glidden. Quick time to recognize some of our sponsors here on mybasin.com. Klamath Falls Subaru has donated thousands of dollars through dozens of hometown charities through the Subaru Love Promise. Comfortable and not corporate at Klamath Falls Subaru. Stop on by on Washburn Way and say hi. Count is 1-0 to Enderly. Wide batting stance. Move over to first. Back safely is Bergdahl. Enderle, a graduate of Silverton High School this past summer, sends a ground ball to short. Shively going to try to turn two. Underhand toss to Takini for one. On to first in time. 6-4-3 gets the Falcons out of the top of the first inning. We'll go to the bottom half, still scoreless. You've got Falcons baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. Falcons able to turn a double play to get out of the top half, and now they'll have a chance to swing the bats against Slade Hudson, the right-hander for post 58, who's getting his second start of the summer. His first start back on June 8th against the Wet Sox. He pitched 3 1/3 innings. He picked up the loss in that effort, gave up 10 hits, 11 runs, 9 of them were earned. He did strike out 9. He didn't walk anybody. He only left 2 runners on, but guys were able to hit him around the ballpark. It led to a 15-1 loss for post 58. And so looking to right the ship for his team today against the Falcons. Again, their starting lineup, Max Price, Connor Shively, Jacoby Takini, due up for Klamath Falls this half inning. So walk-off win for the Falcons last time out, but really resilient, even past, if you take a deeper look, into those 2 games against Central Point back on Sunday. Even the first one was a great baseball game, despite the Falcons losing that one 5-3. They were able to jump out to a 3-run lead in the bottom of the 5th inning, but disaster struck in the 6th. The Falcons saw that game slip away, but they were able to refocus, regather, and play a really back-and-forth game against Central Point, the nightcap on Sunday, and come away with a win. Max Price will take a look at strike 1 to start this at-bat. Price then, again, Shively, then Takini. So we take a look at the stats on Max Price for the season here in just a moment. Here's the 0-1. Looked at for a ball. Misses downstairs. Max Price batting .231 through the first 7 games of the season for the Falcons. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is in the zone. The count, a ball and 2 strikes. Slade Hudson, the right-hander on the mound for the Crushers, delivers the 2-1 pitch. Price pops it up. Shallow center field. Center fielder calls everybody off to make the catch, but Connolly unable to bring it in. Overran the pop fly into center field. Max Price, who never took his foot off the gas, winds up at second with, well, not a double. It's an error for Price, but still in scoring position. And that'll bring up Connor Shively. Shively batting .545 to start the season. He's been red hot to start the summer for the Falcons. First pitch to Shively is, again, hit in the air to shallow center field. Connolly will have another chance. Getting underneath it, battling the sun. This time he brings it in for the first out. Here comes Jacoby Takini for the Falcons. Jacoby batting .286 this summer. 4 RBI for him. He's got one more out there waiting. It's Max Price. And despite Price maybe not having the hitting numbers that he would like at the beginning of the season. Again, batting around .230 to start the year. Has still scored a lot of runs this year for the Falcons. 6 runs scored puts him at third most runs scored on the team this year. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Takini. Hits one high in the air, left center field. Connolly again will get under it and make the catch. And here's Colin Takini, due up now for the Falcons. Colin batting .353 through the first 7 games of the year, although he's only played in 6 games, missed the opener against Medford back on June 8th, but has since started in, I believe, every game for the Falcons this summer as he takes strike 1 on the outside. Takini readies for the pitch, trying to drive in the opening run with Price out there in scoring position. He'll take one upstairs. The count is 1-1. Slade Hudson, the right-hander, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, from Cascade High School. Not Cascade Christian. We're talking the Cascade Cougars, a 4A team, the Oregon West Conference. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is hit the opposite way into right field. Could be trouble, but Karstensen comes in and makes the catch on the run to end the inning. Falcons, no runs, no hits. The Crushers commit 1 error, so the Falcons leave a runner left, but we'll go to the second inning, still looking for our first run on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Top of the second inning, Hunter Glidden getting ready to go as he'll face the middle of the Crushers' order. Still tied at 0 here at Kiger Stadium. It'll be Wyatt Postlethwaite, Colson Swartz, and Trey Karstensen due up for the Crushers this half. Hunter Glidden, going to be class of 28 at Henley High School. Didn't get to see him a ton during the prep season at the varsity level, but from what I understand, threw well for the junior varsity Hornets. And likely going to see him next season with the varsity squad, who just claimed their 3rd straight Skyline Conference championship during the spring season, and of course made it to the state semifinal, only to be beat by Marist for the 2nd consecutive year. But Glidden going to try to help the Hornets get over the hump next season. So he fires in the first pitch. It misses upstairs to Postlethwaite, and the count is 1-0. Glidden able to produce a double play to get out of the last half inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one misses off the outside part of the plate. The count is 2-0. Postlethwaite's only played 3 games, this being his 4th with the Crushers, so a bit of a smaller sample size for him when we look at the offensive output, but he is batting .500 through his first 3 games. As he checks his swing on an inside strike, the count is 2-1. Postlethwaite graduating this past year from Silverton High School. He will be playing next year at Mount Hood Community College. The 2-1 pitch, here it comes. Fouled straight back. The count is 2-2. Mount Hood Community College, where Postlethwaite will be joining next year, hoping to help him out to a little bit better of a season. They finished 9-27 overall this year, and he'll hope to improve that record, I'm sure. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Glidden. It's popped up in foul territory left side. Safford is unable to bring that one in. It kicks foul after landing in fair territory. Almost a tough play in there in foul territory. Safford, the third baseman, was coming over. Glidden was running over into foul territory. The two nearly ran into each other before Safford called everyone off, but at that point, in trying to dodge Glidden, was out of position to make the catch. Luckily, though, for the Falcons, the ball bounced back foul, and so we'll do the 2-2 pitch once more to Postal Wait. Set is Glidden. Doesn't work out of the windup. Glidden straight from the stretch, misses outside, and the count is 3-2. Again, on deck is Colson Swartz for the Crushers. Takini delivers the sign, sets his target outside. The 3-2 is hit the other way in foul territory, and Ryan Glidden will run out of room over there, and it'll drift foul, so the count remains the count remains full, 3-2. Settling back in is Postal Wait. Hands back in a 3-2 count. Glidden looks in, kicks, and fires. That pitch misses low, and a leadoff walk is given to Wyatt Postlethwaite, bringing up Colson Swartz. Second walk of the game given up by Glidden. But he was able to turn two again, get rid of the last one from being on base for too long. I'm sure he'll look for more of the same against Colson Swartz. Swartz is batting .333 to start the season for Post 58. Has now started every game this year for the Crushers as he takes a pitch low and away. Count is 1-0. Looks like Postlethwaite going to stay on the base paths, by the way. Something just to keep track of when the catcher or the pitcher gets on base. You'll typically see a courtesy runner, but Postlethwaite's still out there. Line drive opposite way, foul. The count is a ball and a strike to Colson Swartz. Swartz will be class of 27 at Silverton High School. Left-handed bat sets back in, and a move over to first, but back safely is Postlethwaite. Silverton finishing fourth this year in the Mid-Willamette 5A Conference behind teams like Corvallis, West Albany, and Dallas. 1-1 pitch. Here it comes. Off-speed pitch misses wide. The count is 2-1. Silverton earned the number 11 OSAA ranking and lost their first game of the postseason. Were eliminated promptly by LaSalle Prep 4-3 to end their season. Line drive opposite way. Again, the ball goes foul. Count will now be 2-2. Nobody out. Runner on first and still scoreless. Top of the second inning between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the Post 58 Crushers. Glidden takes a look at the runner at first before coming set and motions home for the 2-2. Misses high, and the count's full. After Swartz in the Crushers' order, it's Trey Karstensen. And the count is full. Glidden trying to find the zone here. Again, already walked the leadoff hitter. This time it's fisted towards the middle of the infield. Takini gloves it, touches second for one. Throw to first is in time, and a 4-3 double play will make it 2 outs in the inning, and the bases are empty. It was sort of a knuckleball hit out to second base, but Takini doing a good job of waiting for it to bounce, playing it off the hop. The runner at first, Postlethwaite, wasn't sure if Takini was going to try to catch it or not, so he stayed close to first. And that wound up costing him as Takini touched the bag at second for one and threw a dart across the diamond to get Swartz on the back end. A 4-3 double play brings up Trey Karstensen. First pitch swinging for him, although it's a swinging strike. The count is 0-1. Karstensen, the starting right fielder for Post 58, awaits the 0-1 pitch. That's in the zone. Strike two. On deck, if the inning continues, is Brody Panuke for post 58. The 0-2 pitch is going to miss behind the head of Karstensen. Look out. The count now, ball and 2 strikes. For Karstensen this year, .091 on the batting average. 1 hit in 11 tries so far for him in the first 7 games. The 1-2, that one misses upstairs. The count 2-2. Sometimes at the start of the year, like I always say, numbers can be deceiving either way. I always make a note of that. You talk about guys hitting 500 through 3 games, even 091 through 7 games, still a relatively small sample size compared to the probably 40-plus game season that these guys are going to play. Here's a ground ball down the third base side, but it kicks foul, and the count will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The top of the second inning, still scoreless. Single 9-inning game tonight. Falcons again have double headers only, for the most part, on their league games. Not a ton of non-league double headers this year, aside from one against Medford a little bit later on. A couple of Roseburg teams got double headers against. As the 2-2 misses in, the count 3-2. Glidden set with the full count pitch and delivers. And it's fouled straight back. Count will remain full, 3-2. Trey Karstensen, another one of those Silverton guys, class of 27. Awaits the 3-2 and swings and misses at the outside pitch. Goes down on strikes to end the top of the second inning. Still looking for our first run. Well, maybe we'll find it in the bottom of the second next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Bottom of the second inning, and the Falcons, the post 58 crusher, still scoreless. It'll be P.J. Safford, Ian Meyer, and Corbin Hamilton do up this half for the Falcons against the right-hander Slade Johnson. Falcons were able to get a runner in scoring position in the bottom half of the first, but 3 straight flyouts negated the ability to score a run in that inning. And so they'll be looking for it here. P.J. Safford bats now, probably still riding high after the result of his last at-bat back on Sunday when he had a walk-off single to right field to push the Falcons ahead of the defending state champion Crater Comets. The first pitch is taken for a strike by Safford, the count 0-1. There's a second walk-off hit of the year, by the way, for Safford back on Sunday. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's looked at for strike 2. Also had a walk-off infield single to trigger a mercy rule win earlier in the season. Right now, down in the count 0-2. Hudson steps and delivers, and Safford takes the outside pitch. Count a ball and 2 strikes. Ian Meyer again waits on deck for the Falcons. Pitch on the way. Safford, line drive, left center field. That is going to get down, and a leadoff single for Safford in the bottom of the second inning brings up Ian Meyer. Safford's 9th hit of the year. All 9 of them have been singles, but that's all you need. Sometimes that'll be the first hit of the game for the Falcons as well. And here comes Ian Meyer. That pitch misses outside. The count 1-0. By the way, Safford reaching base there. He's reached base in every game this season for the Falcons now. And adding another one there. 1-0 pitch on the way to Meyer. He shows bunt, lays it down the third base side. Enderle goes on to first, and he will make the out for Meyer, but advancing to second was P.J. Safford into scoring position, bringing up Corbin Hamilton. Meyer doing his job, moving the runner over, and give Corbin an RBI opportunity here. Corbin hitting .278 this season for the Falcons. 3 RBI for him so far, and the first one of the ball game's out there in scoring position. First pitch to Hamilton will be in the zone. A firm fastball, outer third. The count 0-1 to Corbin. Starting as the designated hitter today. Seen him at first base. We've seen him pitch as well, but able to just swing the stick a little bit, at least through the first part of this game. See if they wind up needing him in the field a little bit later on. Again, he's able to play first base. He's able to go out to the outfield if you need him to as well. Count a ball and a strike to Hamilton after he lays off a pitch low and away. The tall right-handed hitter for the Falcons settles back in. Here's the 1-1. That one finds the outer third once more as Hudson really living out there against Hamilton, and the count is 1-2. Decent lead off of second for Safford. The shortstop Hunt holding him loosely, and here's the 1-2 pitch to Hamilton. It's fouled off. Falcons in their blue jerseys today with the word Falcons written across their chest in red cursive and white outline. The Crushers today in navy blue tops with white numbers across their back, a white sort of Old English style C on their right side. Actually, that's their left side, but like that logo. And white pants for the Crushers. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes to Corbin. Set is Hudson and the delivery. That pitch is over the outside part of the plate, looked at for strike 3. Hamilton down on strikes for the second out in the second inning. And that'll bring up Ryan Glidden for the Falcons. Getting the start in right field today, the product from Klamath Union High School, graduated this past spring. Stands 6'1", 180 pounds for Ryan Glidden, batting .250 through the first 7 games for the Falcons. Here's the pitch to Glidden. That one is right down the middle. The count is 0-1. After Glidden, it's Ryan Douglas if the inning continues. Here's the 0-1. It is swung on and missed. Count is now 0-2. That time Hudson going inside to the right-handed hitter. And Glidden just a bit late on that swing. Just trying to put a ball in play here. The 2-strike count. Glidden settles back in. Knees bent, chokes up on the bat a little bit, trying to make contact. Here's the 0-2 looked at for strike 3. And again, the Falcons get a runner into scoring position to lead off an inning, but can't do anything with it as we'll go to the third. Still scoreless on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Top of the third inning. Falcons and the Crushers still scoreless here at Kiger Stadium. A wonderful night for youth baseball night here at Kiger Stadium. It's a wonderful night for a hamburger or a hot dog. We got slushies again, Mike? Oh, yeah, we got slushies at the concession stand here at Kiger Stadium. Whether it's today or some other time this year, hope to see you out here. As Falcons look to get a win in front of a home crowd today. We'll start the top of the third inning with an inside ball one to Brody Panuke. As it'll be Panuke, Miles Emmert, and Oliver Hunt due up. That's 7, 8, 9 in the order for post 58. Here's a ground ball out towards short. Skips off the mound. Shively charging it. Sidearm throw in time. And a nice play by Shively to record the first out in the top of the third inning. Miles Emmert batting now for the Crushers. Emmert will be class of 27 for Staten High School. The Staten Eagles in the 4A classification in the prep season as that pitch misses high and in. Staten finished 7-8 in the Oregon West Conference this year, 11-14 overall. They lost in their first round playoff match 4-1 against Scappoose. The 1-0 misses outside. The count now 2-0 to Miles Emmert. Had to win a play-in game to get there. Beat the team from the coast, Marshfield, 7-1 at home in their playoff game before, again, picking up a loss on the road to end their season. The 2-0 is going to miss outside, and the count 3-0. Must have been a little bit upstairs to Emmert. Oliver Hunt is on deck for the Crushers. Glidden set, deep breath before delivering the 3-0 pitch. That's right down Main Street for strike one. Glidden already with one strikeout today. He's going to have to battle back into this at-bat, though. The 3-2 is rolled down the third base line, kicks foul. Well, P.J. Safford got to it in foul territory, but again, called a foul ball. 3-2 to Miles Emmert. Emmert stands 5'11" in the right-handed batter's box. Now in a 2-strike count. He'll choke up on the bat a little bit and await the delivery from Glidden, which misses high and in. And a one-out walk delivered to Emmert will bring up Oliver Hunt. Well, Glidden has walked a batter in each of the first 2 innings, and now in the third as well. Crushers haven't been able to get that run across. You wonder now, especially as we near the second time through the lineup, how many more times Glidden will get away with that. But he's pitched to contact well. A lot of ground balls, double plays in each of the first 2 innings. I'm sure he'd love to add another one of those in this frame as well. Oliver Hunt steps in. He shows bunt. Pitch is taken for a strike. Throw down to first, and safe is Emmert. They tried to backdoor him. He didn't slide in. It was close, but he is back safely. Again, that pitch called a ball, The count 1-0 to Hunt. Hunt has a very wide batting stance. It almost looks like he's staring straight at you as a pitcher. His front foot is nearly out of the batter's box behind him. He squares up to the pitcher. Here's the 1-0. Strike one. Outer third, about bell tie. The count is even. Hunt, class of 26 for Staten High School, will be entering his senior season in the fall. It's the 1-1. Corner is in for the Falcons. Middle infield ready to turn 2 with that runner at first. Before we get the pitch, a move over to first. Back safely is Emmert. Don't know if Glidden is trying to really pick him off or just make him think for an extra half second out there. Emmert got a big secondary lead in the first pitch of this at-bat, and so Glidden clocking him before coming set. 1-0 pitch home now. This one's lifted into the air, shallow left field. The left fielder, Douglas, won't be able to get there. Drops in front of him for a one-out base hit, advancing Emmert to second. Now back to the top of the order for Colton Connolly. That the first hit of the day for post 58. And now it's Colton Connolly batting now for the Crushers. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded out in the first inning. But 2 runners on and just 1 away. The Crushers will look to strike first here at Kiger Stadium. Glidden comes set. and delivers the pitch home. Off-speed pitch in the zone, strike one. Second baseman Colin Tacchini keeping the runner at second. Emmert just aware that he's there. About a 5, 6, 7-step lead off a second for Emmert. The delivery home is a ground ball to third. Safford knocks it down, goes to second, won't be able to get that runner, and everybody is safe on the play. And that will load the bases. Emmert to third, Hunt to second, and Connolly to first. And that will bring up Wade Bergdahl. So Bergdahl walked in his first at-bat and was rolled into a double play in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Called a strike. Count is 0-1 to Bergdahl, designated hitter for the Crushers. Best opportunity for them to score so far. This is the first time they've had a runner not only to third, but in scoring position. Aside from that last at-bat with Emmert standing out there, this is the first time that's gotten there for him as a pitch that might have been a little bit low over the plate, but Bergdahl called strike two against him. A nice bender there from Glidden. I think the idea was to try to get Bergdahl to chase, but he'll take strike two called on a pitch a little bit below the knees anyway. Glidden comes set. Big pitch on the way in the 0-2 count. Glidden delivers. That one comes in and hit him. And that will score a run, and Post 58 leads 1-0. Bases will remain loaded for Sawyer Enderle. Emmert scores, Hunt to third, Connolly to second, and Bergdahl with second free pass of the day. Quick conference on the mound between Tacchini and Glidden once more. I want to remind you today's broadcast on mybasin.com brought to you in part by the Pacific Power Foundation, who donated over $70,000 in 2024 to organizations like Lost River FFA, Henley FFA, and the Oregon Tech Foundation. Big thanks to Pacific Power and the Foundation for coming on board and supporting a season of youth sports here in the Basin. Sawyer Enderle stepping in now for the Crushers. Enderle 0-for-1, rolled into a double play in the first inning. First pitch from Glidden is looked at upstairs for ball one. After a ground out to start this inning, it was Emmert who was walked. A single, then a fielder's choice, then a hit by pitch is what has led to this single run so far for Post 58. Glidden hoping to keep it there, but a suicide squeeze is rolled out to the pitcher. Runner thrown out at first. Another runner breaking for the plate is tagged out at the plate. No, he's safe. They're saying Tacchini never tagged him at the plate. He can't believe it. 2 runs score on the play. And a runner, did 3 runs score on that play? So the runner was thrown out at first. 2 runs come in. Post 58 leads 3-0, and that runner at third will be Bergdahl. And in steps Postlethwaite. That pitch misses outside. Count is 1-0. So on that play, Hunt scored on the squeeze. Connolly just kept on running through third and scored on that play. The throw beat him, but Tacchini didn't apply the tag and allowed Bergdahl to scramble back and touch home. One more runner waits at third as the pitch home is swung on and missed. The count now 1-1 to Postlethwaite. After Postlethwaite is Colson Swartz. If the inning continues, the 1-1 pitch comes in and hits Postlethwaite. The inning will continue. And that will put runners at the corners. Swartz 0-for-1 today. Swartz grounded out in the second inning. Bergdahl remains at third. See if they've got Postlethwaite in motion. Doubtful with 2 outs and the catcher on board, but he's got a pretty significant lead over there at first. First pitch swung on and fouled off, and the count is 0-1. After Swartz, Trey Karstensen bats for post 58. Glidden takes a look at the runner at first before coming set. Makes a move over to first. Tag applied, but back safely. Runner at third, Bergdahl, not moving. So we'll have to wait again for the 0-1. Colson Swartz awaits the pitch. It misses outside, maybe a bit high. The count 1-1. Again, already 3 runs home for post 58 in this half inning. Glidden trying to stop the bleeding. Here's the 1-1. Runner on the move. The pitch is fouled off, though. Count 1-2. Now with 2 strikes, only 1 ball. Glidden has a little bit of room to play with, though. But he's already hit 2 batters this inning. Don't want to let him get too wild and creative out there. Probably just try to put this guy away with strike 3. We'll see what the call is for Glidden as he delivers the pitch. Hard ground ball towards the right side, through into the outfield. Glidden has a bit of trouble with it, coming up with it in right. An RBI single for Colson Swartz will score Bergdahl. Advancing to third on the hit was Postlethwaite, and Swartz aboard with the single. So the score now 4-0 for the Crushers. They'll keep runners at the corners, still with 2 outs, and this time it's Trey Karstensen. This is the 9th batter this inning for post 58. Stakini behind the dish issues up some signs to his infield what to do in the event of the runner moving from first, but on a ground ball, you just take the easy out wherever you can get it. First forces at second and first base. Runner on the move. Throw down. Takini receives it. Tag applied. Out by about 10 steps is Colson Swartz, and that will end the 3rd inning. But not before the Crushers score 4 runs on 2 base hits, and they leave 1 stranded. The Falcons will try to respond in the bottom half, up next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Bottom of the 3rd inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the post 58 Crushers 4-0. It was all 4 runs in the top half of this frame. The Falcons will look to answer the call and not let things spiral on them a little bit. It'll be Ryan Douglas, Max Price, and Connor Shively due up to try and respond, with Slade Hudson still on the mound for the Crushers. Talked a little bit about the upcoming schedule for the Falcons. Let's tell you what's up next for post 58. After today, a day off tomorrow. Then Thursday, they'll be playing the Reno Muck Dogs. Then playing, I believe they're playing in a tournament, it looks like, in Reno, with a couple of double headers scheduled towards the end of the weekend and a bracket game scheduled on Sunday. So doesn't quite tell me what tournament they're going to play in, but off the road, likely out of state for the post 58 Crushers after the game today here at Kiger Stadium. Ryan Douglas leading things off in the bottom of the third inning for the Falcons. Here's the first pitch to Douglas. It is fouled back, and the count is 0-1. Ryan Douglas awaiting now the 0-1 pitch. Hudson delivers, and Douglas swings through that pitch. The count is 0-2. And Douglas bats .538 so far for the Falcons through 7 games. Now has to work on a 2-strike approach. Here's the delivery from Hudson on the inside fastball. Douglas fouls it off. Stays alive in this at-bat. Douglas second on the team in on-base percentage at .625. And here, he'll pad that a little bit as he gets plunked on the front elbow. Gets on base there. Second time Douglas has been hit by a pitch this season. And Max Price gets set to bat now, back to the top of the order with a runner on for the Falcons. Price reached on an error in his first at-bat, sent a high fly ball to center field that Connolly just had a little bit of trouble with, fighting the sun out there. It'll be a challenge for the outfielders for next little while before the sun fully sets here at Kiger Stadium. First pitch taken for a strike on the outer third by Max. He's behind in the count 0-1. Aside from reaching on an error earlier, Price batting around .230 so far this season. Here's the 0-1. Fouls that one off. Barely got a piece of it, and the count is 0-2. After Price in the Falcons order, it's Connor Shively. Max Price will be class of 27 for Henley High School. Will be entering his junior year next year. The 0-2. Price checks his swing on the upstairs fastball. The count 1-2. And for Max, only just finishing up his sophomore year, this is going to be his second season with the Falcons. It was his second full season up at varsity for the Hornets as well. And all-conference recipient, as usual, for Price. And imagine he'll be a mainstay on that list through the rest of his high school career as he watches the 1-2 miss outside. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Getting the start in center field today is Price. We've seen him start at second. We've seen him start at third as well. Here's the 2-2 to Max. He will look at ball 3 below the knees. Over the plate, but a good eye by Price, recognizing that pitch going to miss low, and runs the count full. And after being down 0-2, Price can have some confidence in a full count offering coming up from Slade Hudson. The right-hander kicks and delivers. Price pops it up, out of play, foul behind home, and we'll do it again, 3-2. See a couple of little leaguers that are in attendance tonight sprinting after that foul ball. That's what I remember most about going to games as a little kid. It's getting a foul ball like that, running it over to the concession stand. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Price. Rung him up on the inside fastball. He goes down looking for the first out in the third inning. Connor Shively getting ready to bat now for the Falcons. Shively 0 for 1 in this contest. Popped out to center field in his first at-bat. Crushers infield prepared to turn 2. Corners in, middle infield cheating towards second. First pitch to Shively, line drive, center field, base hit. Can't square up a ball much better than that for Connor. Sent it right back up the middle for a one-out knock. Pushing Douglas into scoring position for Jacoby Tacchini. Tacchini's also 0 for 1 in the ballgame. He also flew out to center field in the first inning. Right-handed all-state catcher for the Hornets, Henley High School. He just wrapped up his freshman season. Think about him, too, as he's also playing his second full year with the Falcons. Here's the pitch to Tacchini. Swung on and missed. The count 0-1. Played with the Falcons after his 8th grade season with Henley Middle School. I got to say, I think that season with the Falcons, even if it was a struggle at times for the young Tacchini, really helped him prepare for an outstanding prep year with the Hornets, and he will continue to grow as a sophomore next year. Here, a bit of an excuse-me swing, rolls it out to the mound, but it rolls off the mound, and it eats everybody up. First, the pitcher, Hudson, rolled up on his arm. When it got behind him, the second baseman, Swartz, was charging in, and he wasn't able to get to it cleanly either. So rule it an error on the pitcher, allowing Takini to reach first and load the bases as Douglas goes to third, Shively to second, and we'll have a courtesy runner, Chase Barrett, in at first. And this will bring up the cleanup hitter, looking to clean him up with the bases loaded and one out. Takini represents the tying run in the bottom of the third inning. Pitch on the way from Hudson. Ground ball to short. Hunt on to second for one. The back end of the double play is not in time, and so a run will score on the play. As Douglas scores on the fielder's choice, and the Falcons are on the board, trailing now 4-1. P.J. Safford to bat now for the Falcons. There are two away in the inning. After that fielder's choice, Scott Barrett out. So runners will be at the corners with Colin Takini at first, and Connor Shively at third. P.J. Safford, who singled in his first at-bat, looking for more here. First pitch to him. Safford will take a look at it for ball one off the outside. 1-0. Like I said, Safford has reached base safely in every single game for the Falcons this year. He bats .400. And 8 RBI for him, is second most on the team so far. Trailing only Connor Shively, who's looking to score on this play. Stands at third. The 1-0 pitch on the way from Hudson, misses inside, and the count is 2-0. On deck after Safford, if the inning continues for the Falcons, is Ian Meyer. Safford steps back in. Right-handed hitter from Klamath Union High School. Awaits the pitch from Hudson. That one misses wide, and the count is 3-0. Safford will be a senior next year for the Pelicans. Class of 26 for KUHS. 3-0 pitch to P.J. here. Misses low and away, and Safford earns a walk to load the bases with 2 outs in the third, and this will bring up Ian Meyer. Advancing to second is Colin Takini. Shively stays at third for the meantime. And again, Ian Meyer to bat. But first, a meeting on the mound from Coach Kyle Baker for post 58. See if they wind up making a change here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And while we have an opportunity, I want to thank some of the corporate sponsors that support the Klamath Falls Falcons directly. You might be able to see some of their outfield fence signs on the broadcast on mybasin.com. But I want to recognize Howard's Meat Center, Eisler Group, Quality Electrical Contractors, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Martin's Food Center, Trevor McClung Construction, and Bogate Construction as well. Big thanks to everybody who has stepped up to support the Klamath Falls Falcons this season, and all of the many fun things that they look to do, not the least of which is going to Alaska next week. Talk about that a little bit later on. Of course, the state tournament will be over in Jackson County. Want to make sure that the guys have a fun time if they're able to make it there, too. And that's all possible thanks to the Falcons' corporate sponsors. First pitch to Ian Meyer is fouled off. Again, the bases are loaded with 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning, a game in which the Falcons trailed the Crushers 4-1. Meyer, who's 0 for 1 today with a ground out in the second, waits for the 0-1 pitch, and he'll watch it miss high, and the count is even. Meyer this season batting .364, 5 runs batted in for him this year. Meyer, as he awaits the 1-1, here's the pitch. Meyer line drive to shortstop on a hop. Hunt plays it, takes it to the bag himself, and that will end the inning. But the Falcons do score 1 on 1 base hit. They leave the bases loaded, and they trail 4-1 going to the fourth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Top of the fourth inning in a 4-1 ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons trailing the Post 58 Crushers. Checking the line score for both teams. For Post 58 from State and Oregon, they've got 4 runs on 2 hits. They have committed 2 errors, and they have left 1 runner on base. For the Klamath Falls Falcons, 1 run on 2 hits. They've committed 1 error, and the Falcons have left 5 runners on base so far. As we get you back down to the field, it's Trey Karstensen, Brody Panuke, and Miles Emmert due up this half inning for Post 58. Hunter Glidden still out there for the Falcons after seeing the last inning get away from him a little bit. Couple of hit batsmen. 1 error helped out Post 58 to score 4 of those runs in that inning, but chance to right the ship and have Glidden show us a little mental toughness here in the 4th inning. He's going to attack Trey Karstensen. Is this Colby Medeiros now in the game? Well, pardon me there. Medeiros, the new pitcher from Bonanza High School, and that pitch will be in the zone. The count is 0-1. Medeiros, the right-hander from Bonanza, the only player from a 2A, 1A school on the Falcons this year. As that pitch is fouled back, the count is now 0-2. We'll take a look at the numbers for Medeiros here in just a moment as he tries to set down Karstensen ahead in the count 0-2. And the pitch is rolled down the first base side, foul. Count will remain. All right, Colby this season for the Falcons is making his 3rd appearance of the year. So far, 3 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 7 hits, 4 runs. All of them are earned for an ERA of 8.4. In his first couple of outings, that pitch misses outside, 1-2. Led the Antlers in ERA. They finished 4th place in their special district. Here's the pitch from Medeiros. That is fisted behind short and will get down behind Shively for a leadoff single from Trey Karstensen. 3rd hit of the day for Post 58 comes with nobody out in the 4th and brings up Brody Panuke. Panuke is 0 for 1 today, grounded out to start the 3rd inning. But like I said, his teammates would pick him up later on in that frame, scoring 4 runs. Now I'm sure he feels like it's his turn to get in the books. But here he shows bunt. So that pitch is fouled back. The count is 0-1 as Crushers still looking to manufacture that run over from first. Fun thing about Legion Baseball is you see all different kinds of play styles, right? You see a team like Post 58 going to try to bunt this guy over, perhaps get him in a scoring position, work that run around the base paths. We've seen teams swing away in this spot, swing for the fences all game long. You just get to see a lot of different styles of baseball through the summer. Here's this bunt laid down. Safford charges in from 3rd. He will make the throw onto 1st in time with ease. But there you go, mission accomplished for the Crushers as Karstensen moves into scoring position with 1 out. This brings up Miles Emmert. Miles Emmert from Staten High School is without an at-bat today. He walked and would later score in the 3rd inning. Here's the first pitch to him from Medeiros. That pitch misses low. The count is 1-0. Only have a brief moment. Want to read you off the final line score for Hunter Glidden, who got the start and would be on the hook for the loss if this lead holds. Glidden pitched 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 4 runs, although just 1 of them earned. He struck out 1 batter. Count now ball and a strike after Emmert swings through the 1-0 pitch. 1 away, top of the 4th inning, and a 4-1 ball game. The Falcons trail the Crushers at Kiger Stadium. Medeiros set, takes a look at the runner at second, now delivers home. That pitch misses down and in, and it's 2-1 to Emmert. Oliver Hunt waits on deck. Medeiros looks in and gets the sign from Takini. And here's the pitch. Roller towards the third base side. Safford up with it. Throw on to first is there. But Safford fielding that ball from close to the shortstop's position allowed Karstensen to be moved to third on the ground out. So now with a runner 90 feet away from scoring and 2 outs, it's the number 9 batter in the order, Oliver Hunt. Hunt singled and scored in the third inning. Looking for an RBI here to get his team back up to a 4-run cushion. Again, the Falcons scored 1 in the bottom half of the last inning. Bender from Medeiros graces the black on the outside. The count is 0-1 to Hunt. Hunt, another one of those guys from Staten. He will be a senior next year for the Eagles. The 0-1 pitch is popped up out of play, foul. The count is 0-2 to Oliver Hunt. Karstensen led off this inning with a single. Now, Crushers have moved him over to third on back-to-back ground outs, but now Hunt needs to come up with the big one this inning. Medeiros going to try to stop him in an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch. It is looked at for ball 1, just misses outside. A good pitch by Medeiros trying to get Hunt to chase. It might have been a little bit high, and that's what triggered Hunt to lay off of it, but not a bad idea for Colby as he comes set again with the 1-2. Kicks and delivers the pitch. That one misses well outside. And so now he'll have to regather. Win out of the zone on back-to-back pitches in a 2-strike count. Might have to challenge Hunt a little bit here. Medeiros set. And the pitch is fouled back. It was a fastball over the middle of the plate upstairs, but Hunt able to get a piece of it. And the count remains 2-2. Back to the top of the order next for post 58 with Colton Connolly on deck. Medeiros set with the pitch and delivers. It is a line drive to third. Safford backhands it at the foul line. Strong throw to first. Oh my, P.J. Safford. What a defensive play to get the Falcons out of the 4th inning. Klamath Falls still trails by 3 runs, but maybe a bit of momentum when they swing the sticks next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever. Wonder you're coming home. I just saw your face. I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Set for the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the post 58 Crushers 4-1. Corbin Hamilton getting ready to bat now for the Falcons. Hamilton is 0 for 1 in the contest, but is tasked with starting the rally nearly halfway through this ball game, and the Falcons trailing by 3. Corbin, the designated hitter, awaits the first pitch from Hudson. First pitch swinging, a high fly ball to the right side, shallow right field. Second baseman Schwartz, it's in and out of his glove in shallow right. Might have been a miscommunication of some kind between those 3 guys over there, first and second baseman and the right fielder. Both kind of converged. First baseman, the right fielder, gave way to Schwartz. But not sure if he heard footsteps or what, but that ball was just in and out of his glove. And reaching first on the error is Corbin Hamilton. Ryan Glidden bats now for the Falcons. Glidden 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Corners in, protecting bunt. Glidden shows bunt and lays it down in front of the plate. Foul ball called late by the home plate umpire. Wasn't sure if that came back up and hit his bat or if it bounced off the plate, whatever it might have been. And not sure what this conversation is about between Coach Baker and our home plate umpire. It was called a foul ball, rightly so. But are they trying to say that Ryan Glidden is out? Did the ball come back and hit him? So they're saying that Glidden might have left the batter's box and then the ball came back up and hit him. And so trying to decide if Glidden is out or if it was a foul ball. So our two umpires conversing right of the pitcher's mound. Let's see. So they're going to call it a foul ball. I don't think either of the umpires had definitive evidence of the contrary. It was already kind of a task for us to figure out what the conversation was up here. So Glidden still alive in this at-bat. The count will be 0-1. Runner at first is Corbin Hamilton, and the Falcons trail by 3 in the bottom of the 4th inning. See if Glidden tries to show bunt again in the 0-1 count. Yes, he does, and this time he pushes it out in front of the mound. The pitcher has a bit of trouble coming up with it. Glidden hustling down the line is safe. And another error committed this inning puts 2 Falcons on base for Ryan Douglas. Ryan Douglas, who is without an at-bat today, was hit by a pitch and came around to score the Falcons' only run of the ballgame in the 3rd inning. But an opportunity to knock in a run. With Hamilton out there in scoring position, even you place a ball in the gap, Glidden's got the wheels to score from first. As Douglas readies, he tries to lay down bunt. The count is now 0-1 after that foul ball. Douglas coming up with a pretty big hit in the Falcons' last game against Central Point, the win 5-4 against the defending Oregon State champs. Ryan Douglas with a double with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Brought the Falcons within 1 run at the time and then scored their tying run of that game in the next at-bat. Here Douglas takes a pitch outside, 1-0. But that 2-out double from Douglas, I think, made everyone believe that the Falcons might have a chance. And it turns out, well, they had a chance and they come away with a win back on Sunday. Thanks, again, in large part to Mr. Ryan Douglas. Right now, even in the count of ball and a strike, he shows bunt. Pitch misses high. He pulls back. The count is now 2-1 to the Falcons left fielder. Max Price on deck for Klamath Falls. Back to the top of the order next. Hudson delivers the pitch to Douglas. Douglas pops up the bunt in foul territory. It gets down, but now the count is 2-2, and Ryan likely to now be swinging away in a 2-strike count. Back on the rubber is Hudson, the right-hander, looking in to get the sign from Postal Wait behind the dish. First baseman Panuke playing in front of the runner. And here's the pitch to Douglas, misses high, and the count is full. You wonder if Glidden might get a little bit of an extra lead, step or 3 here to try to avoid a double play. Protected by that 2-strike count a little bit, or the full count a little bit. Here's Douglas. He'll take that pitch in the dirt anyway. The Falcons don't have to worry about it. The bases will be loaded for Max Price. Price 0 for 1 in this ball game. Price reached on an error in the first, struck out in the 3rd, but a golden opportunity for the Falcons with the tying run on base in the bottom of the 4th inning. First pitch to Price, misses high and in. The count is 1-0. At first, it's Douglas. Glidden at second and Hamilton at third. It was 2 errors to start the inning, plus the walk that loaded the bases for Klamath Falls. And now Price looking to come up with a knock to drive a few of them in. Good speed everywhere as well. And Douglas, you could make a case that he's the fastest of all these guys, and he's at first. 1-1 pitch on the way to Price. That's hit the other way. Foul. Count is 1-2 to the all-conference center fielder for the Klamath Falls Falcons, Connor Shively, is on deck next. Hudson looks in, gets the sign, comes set, takes a look at all the runners before delivering the 1-2. Bouncing ball back up the middle. Second baseman Swartz, underhand toss to the shortstop. He can't bring it in, and a run will score. Score 4-2, and the Falcons will keep the bases loaded as the third error of the inning has led to a run. Glidden to third, Douglas to second, Price at first, and here's Connor Shively. Shively 1 for 2 today. By the way, that last single for Shively extending his hitting streak every game for the Falcons this year, except for the opener. Shively's gotten on base. That pitch misses wide. Count 1-0 to Shively. Shively singled and was left stranded at third in the third inning. Watches that pitch miss outside. The count is 2-0. Right-hander up and moving in the post 58 bullpen. It looks like it could be Bergdahl out there, and it is. It is Wade Bergdahl getting some warm-up tosses in for post 58. The 2-0 pitch to Shively. Line drive, right field, base hit. Glidden will score. They're thought about waving Max Price in, but they slammed the brakes on him, so the bases stay loaded, and an RBI single for Connor Shively brings the Falcons within 1. The score is 4-3. Glidden scored on that play. Douglas to third. Price to second, pardon me there, and Shively aboard at first for his second hit of the day, and an RBI at that. Here's Jacoby Tacchini. Still nobody out in the inning. Falcons can really build out this rally. Here's the pitch to Tacchini, and that's a called strike, 0-1. Crushers, for their part, going to try to pitch Tacchini down in the zone, I'd imagine, try to roll him up. It's up to Jacoby, trying to square up that pitch. He knows where they're going. Here's the 0-1. That pitch finds the lower third of the zone right over the heart of the plate, but the count is 0-2 now to Jacoby with his cousin Colin on deck. Tacchini did reach on an error earlier in the ball game. Chokes up a bit in an 0-2 count, and the pitch. Tacchini, line drive to the shortstop Hunt. Gloves it, throws to second, and that's a double play. And Tacchini hit that ball so darn hard that Max Price couldn't get back to second in time. And so a 6-4 double play will bring up Colin Tacchini, now with runners at the corners and 2 away. Tacchini is 0 for 2 today, although he did have an RBI in the third inning on a fielder's choice. Other than that, he flew out to right field. Timeout is called, and the catcher, Postal Wade, going to give signs to his infield. Situation is 2 outs and runners at the corners. Tying run is at third. Go-ahead run is at first. And Colin Tacchini awaits the first pitch for him as Slade Hudson comes set. Here's the delivery. Hit in the air, foul behind first, count 0-1. P.J. Safford is on deck should this inning continue for the Falcons. Colin Tacchini batting a .353 through the first 6 games of his summer. The only player from Lakeview on this Falcons roster. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Nearly came in and hit Tacchini, and then on the move is Connor Shively. He's into second safely without a throw. So now 2 in scoring position and a 1-1 count to Colin Tacchini. Now the go-ahead run is in scoring position. Set is Hudson, and the pitch. Misses high and in, nearly hit Tacchini, but the count 2 balls and a strike to him. Right-handed batter keeps his hands close to his chest in the batting stance, has a short swing. Here's the 2-1. Rifles that one foul down the third base side. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Colin was 1 for 3 in the win on a Sunday against Central Point. His best game was a 3-for-5 appearance at home, on the road against Roseburg. Here's the 2-2 to Takini. High fly ball to the right side, shallow right field. Could be trouble with the sun. Karstensen, though, able to battle the sun and bring it in for the third out. But the Falcons do score 2 runs on 1 base hit, and they leave 2 runners stranded. Heading to the top of the 5th next in a 4-3 ball game. Klamath Falls trails the Crushers on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Getting set for the top of the 5th inning from historic and legendary Kiger Stadium in Klamath Falls. Right now, the home team trailing the visiting Post 58 Crushers 4-3. Top of the order due up for the Crushers. It'll be Colton Connolly, Wade Bergdahl, and Sawyer Enderle due up against Colby Medeiros, the right-hander from Bonanza High School. Trying to keep things right where they are as the Falcons seem to have seized a bit of momentum. Goal for Medeiros. Get out of this inning quick and get those bats back up to the plate. Here's the first pitch from Medeiros. Misses high and in. The count is 1-0. Connolly is 0 for 2 today. He grounded out in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third, but would come around and score. That pitch misses in, and the count is 2-0 to Connolly. Medeiros working out of the windup and the pitch. That one misses low below the zone, and the count is 3-0. Connolly, the leading hitter for Post 58, .542 this season. An all-state player for Staten High School. Will graduate next year as that pitch is called a strike. Way to battle back there for Medeiros. Still down in the count 3-1. Connolly, one of 2 all-state recipients for the Crushers. Here's a ground ball foul. The count's 3-2. And we will see, well, at least we're likely to see the other all-state player for Post 58 later on this inning. That's Sawyer Enderle from Silverton High School. He's due to bat third this inning. Full count offering on the way to Connolly. And it's a ground ball to short. Shively comes up with it. Throws to first and takes Meyer off the bag. Tried to apply the tag, but unable to do so. And so Connolly will reach on the error, and that will bring up Wade Bergdahl. Bergdahl walked and has been hit by a pitch so far. Although when he was hit in the third inning, he did come around to score. Now bats with a runner at first and nobody out, and his team up by a run against the Falcons. Here's the pitch from Medeiros. Runner on the move. Takini throws down. The throw was there, but Colin Takini unable to clean that one up as at second base. Tried to pick it out of the dirt and just hit off the top of the webbing there. And so in safely at second is Connolly. As Bergdahl, now situation changes a little bit. Runner in scoring position. And a big lead off of second. That pitch in the zone. Count is even, 1-1. A huge lead for Connolly off of second. His secondary lead gets him about halfway down to third. 8-step lead off of second for Connolly. Medeiros looks over to him before delivering home. The 1-1 is an off-speed pitch that's in the zone. 1-2. After Bergdahl, once again, it's Sawyer Enderle on deck for the Crushers. Set is Medeiros, and the delivery home is a roller to third. Safford fields it on 2 hops. Throw to first will be there after looking the runner back to second. Smart play there by Safford to record the first out in the 5th inning. Sawyer Enderle, again the other all-state player for the post-58 Canyon Crushers. Although Sawyer Enderle attends Silverton High School, he will join Blue Mountain Community College next season for his freshman year. The first pitch to him swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. Blue Mountain Community College finished 16-25 in the NWAC this last year. Enderle will hope to help him out to a bit of a better record next spring. And move over to second, and Connolly gets back in standing. Medeiros, I think, kind of second-guessed whether or not he wanted to throw to second and wound up kind of spiking that one. But luckily, Connolly staying at second. And so Medeiros gets the ball back for the 0-1 pitch. It is looked at for strike 2, finding the outside corner of the plate. And Medeiros ahead in the count against the all-state hitter for the post-58 Crushers. Medeiros looking to set him down. Comes set with the 0-2. Kicks, delivers, pipes a fastball for strike 3. And that is the second out in the 5th inning. Wyatt Postlethwaite getting ready to step in now for the Crushers. He has walked and been hit by a pitch as well. The catcher was stranded at third base in the 3rd inning. And I think we had a fan who was sitting unsafely in the stadium. So quick pause in the action. We'll be back and ready to go. And now we've got conversation between the umpires before we're ready for more baseball. Want to take a moment to let all you Falcons fans know that when the team travels to Alaska next week, beginning with games on Tuesday against Palmer and Wasilla at the Wasilla Todd Ryan Classic and the Midseason Classic, the 529 tournament in Anchorage, all week next week, we will have coverage of the Falcons right here on mybasin.com. Been able to find a way to Anchorage, so I'm very excited to be able to bring all of those games to you next week. If you're unable to make the trip, that's understandable, but tell your friends, tell your family, tell all the fans you know to watch the Falcons next week in Alaska right here on mybasin.com. All right, ready for baseball. First pitch is taken for a strike to Wyatt Postlethwaite. The count is 0-1. Like I said, Postlethwaite walked in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. He's crowding the plate here against the right-handed thrower Colby Medeiros. Big lead off a second for Connolly, and the pitch home is looked at low for a ball. Count is 1-1 to Postlethwaite. Postlethwaite will be attending Mount Hood Community College next year. They finished 9-27 in the NWAC. Here's the 1-1. Line drive to left side, through into the outfield, a base hit. They are going to keep Connolly at third as a good throw in from the outfield holds him. And a 2-out single for Wyatt Postlethwaite will bring up Colson Swartz. And Takini, the catcher, offering up signs to his infield should the runner Postlethwaite get on the move. Again, a catcher, but he's got long stride. Certainly no slump on the base paths. Already tried to steal a base earlier today, was eventually sent back on a foul ball, but we know he's got it in him. See if they set him with 2 outs as the first pitch is fouled back, and the count is 0-1 to Colson Swartz. Runners at the corners in a 1-run ball game in which Post 58 leads the Klamath Falls Falcons in the top of the 5th inning. Swartz is 1 for 2 today. Grounded out in the 2nd, but an RBI single in the 3rd was a part of that the team's 4-run 3rd inning. It's been all their offense so far today as the pitch was in there for a strike. The count now 1-1 from Medeiros. He comes set and delivers home. Ground ball to the left side. Safford up with it, sets his feet, fires to first in time, and that will be the top of the 5th inning. 1 base hit, 2 runners left, but no runs come across for Post 58. They, though, lead 4-3 going to the bottom of the 5th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Bottom of the 5th inning, and the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Post 58 Crushers 4-3. Due up this half for the Falcons, it's 5, 6, and 7 in their order. That's P.J. Safford, Ian Meyer, and Corbin Hamilton. Still out there on the mound for the Crushers is Slade Hudson. He's gotten into a little bit of hot water in each of the last 2 innings, but despite that, his team still has the lead. So getting to go out there for the bottom of the 5th inning. Quick check of the line score for him so far. He's thrown 70 pitches through 4 innings, given up 3 hits, 3 runs, although none of them earned. He has walked 2 and struck out 3. So all things considered, he has thrown well, especially with all those runs being unearned against him. 5 errors behind him have led to the 3 runs for the Falcons. Still looking for that tying run, though, and P.J. Safford will be the guy to start the rally as the Falcons look to tie or take the lead in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing by a single run. As the first pitch misses outside, the count is 1-0. P.J. singled in the 2nd. He walked in the 3rd. And for a guy that's been getting on base a lot this season, that's all his job is here to lead off this inning. The 1-0 to Safford is rolled weakly down the third base line. Charging is Enderle. Fields it cleanly, makes a nice throw to first. Good play by the third baseman Enderle to get Safford to start the 5th inning. This will bring up Ian Meyer for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Meyer's 0 for 2 today, is grounded out in each the 2nd and 3rd innings. Meyer on the season batting .364 for the Falcons. Tall batting stance, awaits the first pitch. It misses outside. The count is 1-0. Maybe a little bit low as well to the right-handed batter for the Falcons. And the delivery on the way from Slade Hudson. The 1-0 is hit the opposite way, right field. Right fielder Karstensen gives chase, but it's over his head, and it'll roll to the wall. Meyer digging for 2. They're going to wave him to 3rd. The throw to the cutoff man is wild, so Meyer will get into 3rd with a triple. For Ian Meyer, that is his first triple of the season. It comes with 1 out in the 5th inning. He represents the tying run, now standing at 3rd. Here comes Corbin Hamilton with an RBI opportunity. The infield comes in to protect that run at 3rd for the Crushers. First pitch to Hamilton, lined the other way, foul, and the count is 0-1. Meyer coming away with his first triple, must be of the calendar year. I don't see him having a triple during the prep season either. Way to go for Ian. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Hamilton. A shot to straightaway center field. That's over the head of the center fielder. Meyer's going to score, and we are tied. Hamilton's going to pull into 2nd with a double, and we're knotted at 4 in the bottom of the 5th inning. RBI double for Corbin Hamilton with 1 out, and in steps Ryan Glidden. For Hamilton, his third double of the season, his 20th, I was still looking at the Hornets stats. We'll get the Falcons stats for you here in just a minute for Corbin Hamilton, as it looks like we may see a new pitcher, but want to get this thought out there real quick for Corbin. That's his first double of the season and his fourth RBI. Coach Kyle Baker spending some time out there with his team on the mound. The whole infield is in discussing things too. Want to remind you today's broadcast on mybasin.com brought to you in part by Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the Klamath Basin at 1919 Austin Street or 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza has been a proud supporter of our coverage for now 5 years on mybasin.com. So runner in scoring position is Corbin Hamilton after the RBI double put him there, and tying us up at 4 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ryan Glidden a chance to give the Falcons the lead in this inning. Glidden today is 0 for 2. He struck out in the second, reached on an error in the fourth, and would come around to score. First pitch on the way to Glidden. He will look at it for ball 1. That pitch missing downstairs to the graduate of Klamath Union High School. Ryan Glidden bats .250 this year for the Falcons. As the right fielder readies for the 1-0 pitch, offers up at and misses at it. The count is 1-1. On deck after Ryan Glidden is Ryan Douglas. Modest leadoff is second for Hamilton. Hudson delivers the pitch, and a swing and a miss for strike 2. By the way, obviously we didn't take a break. They kept Hudson in the game. Again, it was the first earned run against him. He's thrown well, really, all things considered, against the Falcons without much help defensively behind him. But now Klamath Falls, with back-to-back extra base hits this inning, have tied the game. Here's the 1-2 to Glidden, looked at for ball 2. That pitch missed well off the outside part of the plate. Glidden stays alive in this at-bat. 1 out in the inning. Go ahead run in scoring position. The 2-2 on its way to Ryan Glidden. Swings and misses at strike 3, and now there are 2 outs in the 5th inning. Second time Glidden's been sat down today. Number 9 hitter in the order, Ryan Douglas. Now for the Falcons. Douglas was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning and walked in the 4th inning. Came around to score both times. First pitch to him in his 3rd look at Slade Hudson. Will miss low. The count is 1-0. If the inning continues, back to the top of the order next for Klamath Falls with Max Price. Hudson looks Hamilton back at second, now delivers home. The pitch is fouled off by Douglas, and the count is even now at a ball and a strike. Ryan Douglas bats .538 for the Falcons this year. Gets on base 62% of the time. 1-1 pitch. Douglas chases the off-speed pitch, maybe a little bit outside. Douglas was certainly out in front of it. And now in a 2-strike count with 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning, tied at 4, but Hamilton standing out there at second. The shortstop Hunt shaded over to the right, just trying to keep Hamilton aware. The second baseman Swartz also over there. But as Hudson comes set, they both return home. And the 1-2 misses down and in, and the count is 2-2. Hudson gathers the sign from Postal Weight and comes set. The 2-2. Douglas offers up at and misses, and that will end the inning. But the Falcons score 1 and tie the game on 2 base hits. One of them, the RBI double from Corbin Hamilton. They left him stranded, but we've got a brand new ball game heading to the 6th on 104.3 and 960 Sports at mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
Top of the sixth inning in a 4-4 ball game here at Kiger Stadium. And it'll be 6, 7, 8 in the Crushers order. Due up Trey Karstensen, Brody Panuke, and Miles Emmert against Colby Medeiros. Will now be in the third inning of his relief appearance. And it looks like we'll actually have a pinch hitter in for post 58. It'll be Scotty Cummings from West Albany High School, batting in the place of Trey Karstensen. And I believe we're going to see a series of new hitters in for post 58 this half inning. So we got a new guy on deck as well, I believe. Well, it looks like they made another change already. We'll see in just a moment. Let's focus on Cummings at the plate. Class of 26 with West Albany, going up against Colby Medeiros. Pitch on the way, and a called strike one. Foul ball right side, and the count is now 0-2 to Cummings. That's from the right side, wide batting stance for Cummings as the 0-2 from Medeiros is looked at for a ball, missed upstairs. Good pitch there by Colby, but just missing out of the zone high for ball one. Cummings this season batting .231 for the post 58 Crushers, faces a 1-2 count against Medeiros and looks at ball two as that one misses low and away. Count is even. So it looks like on deck will be James Collier from Silverton High School. Here's the 2-2. And that pitch rung him up. The outside fastball in the zone against Cummings. And Medeiros sets him down on strikes for the first out in the sixth. So here comes Collier hitting in the place of Brody Panuke in the 7-hole for post 58. One away in the sixth inning, and ball one called to Collier. Collier will be class of 27 at Silverton High School. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Checks his swing, called a strike. The count is 1-1. At 6'4", James Collier is the tallest player on the roster, and at 225, he is the heaviest player on the roster too. But look at his arm definition. He is a strong player. You can tell just by taking a look at him. Count is 2 balls and a strike to Collier. And the pitch from Medeiros. It's a ground ball to third. Safford staying busy over there this game, and another clean throw to first is in time for the second out. That's Safford's 6th put out of the game at third base. Like I said, he's been busy over there and making another clean one. And in steps Miles Emmert for the Crushers with 2 outs in the 6th. First pitch in for a strike. Count is 0-1. Right over the heart of the plate to Emmert, who walked in the 3rd and grounded out in the 4th. Who would you guess he grounded out to? Yeah, it is P.J. Safford. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's in the dirt. The count is 1-1. Shadows cast now deep into center field here at Kiger as the sun sets behind us. Now just the right fielder really having to deal with those reflections. How about another ground ball to P.J. Safford? This one goes through his legs and into left field. And a 2-out error will allow Oliver Hunt to bat now in the 6th inning. I suppose you can only go so long with that many balls being hit to you. Safford commits the error, bringing up Oliver Hunt. For the Falcons, that is their third error of the contest, compared to 5 for post 58 so far. First pitch to Hunt misses high. The count is 1-0. Oliver Hunt is 1 for 2 today. He singled and scored in the third inning and grounded out in the fourth. 1-0 pitch as Medeiros comes set. Here it is. That one in the dirt. Jacoby Takini, being the backstop he is back there, not allowing that runner to advance. But the count is 2-0 to Oliver Hunt, who bats .333 for post 58. Pitch on the way from Medeiros is going to miss outside, and the count is 3-0. Pitch was close. Jacoby tried to frame it up for the home plate umpire, but he's not biting. The count 3-0 to Oliver Hunt. Top of the order next with Connolly. 3-0 from Medeiros, and the pitch is called strike one. Just over the outer third, about belt high, the count 3-1. Medeiros set. And the 3-1 is rolled back up the middle. Colin Takini, underhand toss to Shively, cover in second, and that will end the inning. An error does not cost the Falcons in the sixth. We are tied going to the bottom half here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At MyBasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting ready for the bottom of the sixth inning between the Klamath Falls Falcons and the post 58 Crushers. A couple of changes for post 58 as we enter this sixth inning. We'll have 3 changes for them as a new pitcher enters the game in Wade Bergdahl. We'll take a look at him in just a moment, but also want to remind you that James Collier is staying in the game at first base, and we're also going to see Scotty Cummings stay in the game in right. So those are your other 2 changes for post 58. Going to make a quick note on my own book, just real briefly, as we take now a look at the season stats for the right-hander Wade Bergdahl for post 58. The Crushers from Staten, Oregon. The right-hander is making his third appearance of the season. All have been in relief. 1 2/3 innings pitched so far. He's given up 1 hit, 3 runs. He's walked 4 and struck out 4. An ERA of 12.6 coming into this outing against the Klamath Falls Falcons. We're tied up at 4 in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it'll be the top of the Falcons order due up. Max Price, Connor Shively, and Jacoby Takini. And before we get too much further, also want to give you the final line score on the starter today, Slade Hudson, who will not earn a decision in this outing. Same for the Falcons pitcher, Hunter Glidden. But now strictly a bullpen game. Final line score in the contest for Slade Hudson, who pitched 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, although just 1 of them were earned. He walked 2 and struck out 5. Max Price in now for Klamath Falls. First pitch to him is called a strike, 0-1. Bergdahl coming with some velocity on the first pitch. And Max Price settles back in. He's reached on errors twice today and struck out once. So 0 for 3 for Price, but again, he's been reaching base, putting the ball in play. As the 0-1 misses outside, the count is 1-1. Price has been left stranded in scoring position both times around the bases as well. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one misses upstairs. The count is 2-1. Bergdahl throws from the right side. Don't have much information on him other than that, but provides a lot of velocity. Looks to be a pretty tall player out there on the mound as well. As the 2-1 was fouled back, the count 2-2. Bergdahl back on the rubber. He started the game as the designated hitter and will stay in the lineup offensively, now assuming duties as the pitcher. Gets the sign from Postlethwaite, now delivers the pitch. That is called strike 3. And Max Price goes down looking for the second time today, and that'll bring up Connor Shively. Shively is 2 for 3 today, a couple of singles in the third and fourth innings, and in that latter one had an RBI as well, an inning in which the Falcons scored 2 of their 4 runs to tie us up in the bottom of the sixth inning. Pitch to Shively, rolled out towards second. Schwartz plays it, throw on to first, routine ground ball, 4-3 for the second out in the sixth inning. Jacoby Tacchini stepping in now for the Falcons. Tacchini still looking for his first hit of the day, although he did reach on an error in the third inning. Most recently lined into a double play as the first pitch misses outside to him, 1-0 the count. Hit a ball about as hard as you could to shortstop, and at the time there was a runner on second base. Didn't have time to scramble back to the bag, so F6-4 in the book for Tacchini. So that pitch misses inside, a close miss to Tacchini. Going to be hard to get around on that inside fastball to Bergdahl. Again, bringing some velocity. I don't know if Tacchini even saw that pitch. Now Bergdahl ready to go, the 2-0. That is swung on and missed, and the count is 2-1. On deck after Jacoby is Colin Tacchini. Working out of the windup is Bergdahl. Count 2-1 to Tacchini, and the pitch is going to miss upstairs, and the count's 3-1. Tacchini in his first at-bat to make him 0 for 3, flew out to center field. Here's the 3-1 from Bergdahl, and that one misses high and in. And Tacchini on base. See if we get a runner up and going. It looks like we will. I have a feeling it's going to wind up being Chase Barrett. It's who it was earlier. And look, he's already out there. He was the first base coach to start the inning. And so now Coach Tacchini comes on out, and he will take over first base coaching duties. And Chase Barrett aboard at first. Here's Colin Tacchini, who's 0 for 3 today. A couple of flyouts to right field, mixed in a fielder's choice in the third and an RBI. Go ahead, run on base. They'll check on him over there. Back safely is Chase Barrett at first. And we'll have to wait for the first pitch to Colin Tacchini. On deck after Colin is P.J. Safford. Pitch from Bergdahl. Here it comes. Bounces that one to the plate. Gets by Postlethwaite to the backstop. And Chase Barrett will advance to scoring position on the wild pitch. Count is also 1-0 now to Colin. Chance for the Falcons to take the lead here in the late going. Don't know how many more of these opportunities you'll get as this game goes on. Set is Bergdahl. And the pitch is a shot to center field. That's going to be over the head of the center fielder, Connolly. It'll two-hop the wall. The Falcons have the lead as Chase Barrett scores on the RBI double for Colin Tacchini. 5-4 Falcons. Really put a lot behind that one And that can happen when you got a pitcher who provides some of that velocity. Just got to square it up, and pitcher takes care of the distance on that one. Colin Tacchini giving the Falcons a 1-run lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Here's P.J. Safford, who is 1 for 2 today. He singled in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, and grounded out last inning. First pitch to Safford. He'll look at a pitch that misses high. Count is 1-0. Colin Tacchini picking up the double and the RBI on that last play as we await the 1-0 from to PJ Safford rather. He rolls one the opposite way. It is going to bounce off the glove of the first baseman. The second baseman fields it. Throw on to first for the pitcher. Covering isn't there. And on the madness, scoring all the way from second is Colin Tacchini. And the Falcons lead 6-4. So Safford with a single on that play in the RBI. And so it's just a really perfectly placed ground ball to the right side. Collier laid out for it. It bounced off of the end of his glove over to the second baseman, Swartz. The pitcher was covering, and the throw was just not perfectly on line. So that's what allowed Tacchini to come in and score, and the Falcons now lead by 2. Here's the pitch to Ian Meyer. First, they'll check on Safford over there at first. Dives back safely. Wanted to finish that thought, though, for Colin before he scored. I wasn't able to get out in time for him. It was his 2nd double of the season and his 4th RBI. For P.J. Safford, that was RBI number 9 for him. As he takes off for second, the throw down is over the head of the man covering, and Safford makes it into second base safely, and the count is 1-0 to Ian Meyer. After Ian Meyer in the order, it's Corbin Hamilton for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Fairly aggressive lead off of second for Safford, but no one's holding him with 2 outs. Now the second baseman comes over, but the pitch home is going to miss in the dirt. The count is 2-0 to Ian Meyer. Meyer grounded out in each of his first 2 at-bats, but a 1-out triple in the 5th, and he would come around to score the tying run at the time. And now his team has taken a 2-run lead. The 2-0 offered up at and missed by Meyer. The count is 2-1. Starting in the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Falcons have now scored 6 unanswered runs against Post 58. 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and now 2 more here in the 6th. The pitch to Meyer is going to find the zone. The count is 2-2, a firm fastball on the outside. Meyer looks at it, now even in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at second in a 2-run ball game. Bottom of the 6th inning. Bergdahl looks in. Comes set. Makes a move over to second. They've got Safford caught in a rundown. Throw over to third. Tag applied. And he is out. And that will end the inning. But the Falcons do take a 2-run lead on 2 base hits in the inning. No runners left stranded. And we'll go to the 7th. And the Falcons up by 2 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Top of the 7th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Post 58 Crushers 6-4. Due up this half for Post 58 will be the top of their order: Colton Connolly, Wade Bergdahl, and Sawyer Enderle. That one is going to miss. The count is 1-0 to Connolly, who is 0 for 2 today. 0 for 3 today. Rounded out in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third and would wind up scoring, and then reached on an error in the fifth where he was stranded at third in that inning. The count, a ball and a strike after Medeiros finds the inner third on the 1-0 count. The 1-2 is hit to left center field. That'll get down in the gap, likely extra bases. Connolly, big turnaround first, digging for 2. They're waving him to third. The throw-in is cut off by Shively. The throw into third will take Safford off the bag, and a leadoff triple for Colton Connolly has the Crushers in business to start the 7th inning. Second triple of the ball game for either of these teams. Ian Meyer has the second one, but don't often see guys get all the way down to third. It's been aggressive base running all day long. And we've got time on the field as Coach Craig Connor comes out of the dugout. Looks like the Falcons are ready to make a change as Corbin Hamilton is following closely behind. We'll have a change for the Falcons in the top of the 7th, and they lead 6-4 against Post 58. We'll step aside, come back, and introduce you to Corbin Hamilton when we return on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Wait, all I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Resuming you in the top of the 7th inning, a 6-4 ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons lead the Post 58 Crushers, and a new man on the mound for the Falcons will be the right-hander from Henley High School, Corbin Hamilton. Taking a look at the numbers for Hamilton on the season, this is his 3rd appearance and his 2nd in relief. 4 2/3 innings pitched coming into the contest today in a 2-0 record. Hamilton with an ERA of 1.5. He has struck out 10 batters in his 4 2/3 innings pitched. The Falcons are going to look for him to battle through the top and then middle of this Crushers order. He'll inherit a runner at third. That's Colton Connolly, although that is Medeiros' responsibility, so can't quite close the book on the right-hander for Bonanza just yet. And the tying run will be at the plate in Wade Bergdahl in just a moment. Last time we saw Corb, we'll take a look at his stats earlier in the season, kind of narrow it down. He was the winning pitcher his last time out against Central Point, only needed 1 out to get there, but his relief appearance, his start against the Medford Mavericks, the North Medford Mavericks from our conference, saw him go 4 1/3 innings, giving him 4 hits and striking out 9 in that outing. He'll be tasked with getting Wade Bergdahl here, who started the game as a designated hitter and has now found himself tasked with the pitching duties. But another right-hander warming up out there for Post 58. See how long Bergdahl lasts on the hill, but right now he's trying to get the job done at the plate as Corbin Hamilton fires in strike 1 to him. Again, He represents the tying run at the plate. Bergdahl is 0 for 1 in this game. Here's the 0-1 pitch to him. Comes in and nearly hits him. The count is even, a ball and a strike. Bergdahl walked in the first, was hit by a pitch, and came in to score in the third. Here's the 1-1. That pitch is in the zone, and the count is 1-2. Is maybe a little bit below the knees to Bergdahl, but over the middle of the plate. Unsavory call for the post 58 pitcher, but has to refocus and does so in a big way. A line drive base hit to left field will bring post 58 within a run, as the score is now 6-5 with Connolly scoring from third. So still nobody out. Now runner at first. Sixth hit of the day for post 58. And we've got a new hitter coming in for the Crushers. Tristan Garton is hitting for Sawyer Enderly. First at bat will come here against Corbin Hamilton. Fly ball right field. Glidden going towards the line, makes the catch on the run. I don't think that was Glidden out there, but regardless, the catch is made. One of the Carsons out there in right field making the catch for the first out. That keeps the runner at first after Garton lines out. I think it is Carson Sims out there in right making that catch for the first out. Pitch on the way to Postal Weight is taken below the knees for ball one. Postal Weight 1 for 1 today, although he's reached base all 3 times. He was walked in the second, was hit by a pitch in the third, but singled in the fifth. Hamilton set with the pitch to Postal Weight, the 1-0 on the way. And that is called a strike. The count is 1-0. So I want to make an update here. Looks like we've got 2 Carsons in the game now, as Sims is in right like we thought, but Pimley is now patrolling left field for the Falcons. Checks his swing, but a called strike anyway. 1-2 to Wyatt Postal Weight, with Colson Swartz waiting on deck. Hamilton gets the sign in from Tacchini. Comes set with the 1-2, and the pitch is hit in the air, right side, foul. Do it again, 1-2. Postal Weight's been big for the Crushers this season. Again, batting a little bit below 500. He came into the game batting 500 today. So I guess a little bit above it with him being 1 for 1. That pitch misses, I believe, outside, and the count is 2-2. "6'2" right-handed catcher hugs the plate for the Crushers. Here's the 2-2 home. Again, pop the other way, foul. Psychology of an at-bat. I mean, Postal Weight really crowding the plate in that right-handed batter's box. If there was chalk there, he'd probably be standing close to the line. The 2-2, Hamilton is set, and timeout is called by the hitter Postal Weight. Takes a couple of practice cuts before stepping back into that right-handed batter's box as Hamilton comes set again. And the 2-2 pitch is looked at for strike 3. Postal Weight down looking for the second out in the 7th inning. Got a new hitter in here. Henry Briggs batting now for the Crushers. He will bat in place of Colson Swartz. Briggs, the right-handed bat, offers up and misses at strike one. On the season for Briggs, batting 125, although again a small sample size. He's 1 for 8 to start the season, and he does have 1 RBI. Here he takes a ball high. The count is even now, a ball and a strike to Briggs. Briggs, class of 27 for Silverton High School. Here's the 1-1 from Hamilton. Pulls the string and gets a swing and a miss. 1-2. Had Briggs well out in front of that one as Cummings is on deck for the Crushers. And the pitch is taken high for ball 2. You might be able to hear the Little Leaguers cheering from the left side here. They're getting ready to sing "Take Us Out to the Ball Game" if Hamilton can find a way out of this frame. The 2-2 misses outside, 3-2. And, of course, it is youth baseball night here at Kiger Stadium. All the Little Leaguers in attendance will be singing "Taking Me Out to the Ball Game" in the middle of the field between innings. They're ready to go. They want Hamilton to get out of this inning. Move over to first. We'll have to wait just a second longer as Bergdahl is back safely. Hamilton takes a deep breath before coming set with the 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. Swung on and missed. And that will get him out of the 7th inning. But post 58 comes within 1. A score of 6-5 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
As our friend Harry Carey would say, sing it with me and sing it loud. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, but let's root for the Falcons. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Great job, kids! Let's get some runs!
Youth Baseball Night, the big main event there with the Little Leaguers in the Klamath Basin, along with help from our stadium announcer, Mike Safford, sing a little "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Good job, Mike. Post 58 Crushers getting ready to take the field. They find themselves down against the Klamath Falls Falcons, 6-5. Due up this half for Klamath Falls. Unless there's any changes, it'll be Ian Meyer, Corbin Hamilton, and Ryan Glidden. Actually, it'll be Carson Sims batting in that spot, I believe. Still Wade Bergdahl on the mound for the post 58 Crushers. As they finish their final warm-up throws, want to give you a look ahead at what's next for the Klamath Falls Falcons. They are back in action tomorrow on the road to Grants Pass at Agnew Lytle Field at the All Sports Park. One of my favorite venues in our conference. They'll be playing a doubleheader against the Diggers tomorrow at 5, and then off until Saturday, a doubleheader in Medford starting at noon, a doubleheader in Roseburg on Sunday starting at 5, And then Monday is the travel day for the Falcons as they head up north to the state of Alaska for a pair of tournaments, one in Wasilla and one in Anchorage. And that'll take them all the way up until they return home on July 1st for a home doubleheader against Grants Pass. That'll be the next time you can see the Falcons right here at Kiger Stadium. Ian Meyer to bat now for the Falcons. Meyer is 1 for 3 today. Couple of ground outs, but a triple in the 5th helped, at the time, tie the ball game. Right now the Falcons lead by 1. Meyer got quite a few pitches deep into an at-bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. But when P.J. Safford was caught trying to steal third, now he gets a fresh count and a second look at Wade Bergdahl. And the pitch is going to bounce to the plate. The count is 1-0 against Ian Meyer. Want to remind you, for the Falcons' trip to Alaska, which I was just talking about a moment ago, they'll have games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week in Alaska. And we will have your coverage right here on mybasin.com or on the radio on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Very gracious to be able and lucky to be able to go to Alaska with the team and bring the coverage to you from out of state. As the 1-1 pitch to Meyer misses outside, the count 2-1. Don't know if he's listening right now, but want to give a shout-out to Van Williams, the Legion organizer up there in Alaska, for connecting with me and making sure I'll have everything once we get there. Very excited for the broadcast. We also learned today that mybasin.com will have all the games from the Todd Ryan Memorial Tournament in Wasilla. Every single game of that tournament can be watched on mybasin.com. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Meyer, swings and misses, and the count runs full, 3-2. Meyer settles back in. And the delivery from Bergdahl is fouled off. The count is still 3-2. Once the Falcons get to Anchorage, Alaska, the 529 midseason tournament, that is I believe the 30th anniversary of that Legion tournament. Here's the 3-2 pitch. That one misses high, and Meyer able to work a walk to start the 7th inning. Corbin Hamilton to bat now for the Falcons. Hamilton started the game as the DH, is now turned to pitching, and today he's 1 for 3. An RBI double in the 5th inning helped tie the game at the time. Now Hamilton looking to lay down a bunt. He does so, but it goes foul, and the count is 0-1. That Anchorage tournament started, their first one was in 1995. There is one Falcons player in the books historically at that tournament. It's Brian Kinsman, who is the only player in the tournament's history to hit for the cycle at that event. Here's the 0-1. It's popped up, out of play, foul. The count is 0-2. After Hamilton, it's going to be Carson Sims in the order for the Falcons. Set is Bergdahl. Modest lead off of first for Meyer. Hamilton checks his swing on the 0-2 pitch and takes ball 1 high and in. Set is Bergdahl once more, delivering from the right side. The 1-2 is once again fouled off, and the count remains. Hamilton did reach on an error in the 4th and came around to score then. Move over to first. Back safely is Meyer. Kind of flops on top of the base there, but as long as you're touching it, I suppose it doesn't have to look exactly perfect. Meyer back safely at first. Set is Bergdahl. And the 1-2. Line drive, left field, base hit. And now 2 on for Carson Sims. Sims entering the game as a defensive replacement last inning, coming in for Ryan Glidden, who exits the game after going 0 for 3. And Carson Sims, his first at-bat of the ball game. Sims has also been on a heater to start the year for the Falcons, batting .444. 8 base hits this season. 4 of them have been singles. 4 of them have been doubles. He leads the team in that category through the first 7 games. Corners coming in for post 58, anticipating Sims to bunt perhaps, and he does show bunt. Lays it down, but it goes foul. Count is 0-1. After Sims, it'll be the other defensive replacement, Carson Pimley, for the Falcons to wait on deck. I believe he's going to bat. Yeah, he is there on the on-deck circle. So the count 0-1 to Carson Sims. Along with his 4 doubles this season, also has 3 RBI. Sims showing bunt again, pushes it down the first base side. The first baseman Collier is up with it. Thought about getting the lead runner at third and then decides better. Tosses onto the second baseman covering to get Sims. But both runners advance on the sacrifice bunt. And there is now 1 away for Carson Pimley as Hamilton advances to second and Meyer gets to third. Pimley enters in for Ryan Douglas, who finishes the game going 0 for 1 with 2 runs scored. He was hit by a pitch and walked and scored each of those times. Here Pimley takes a strike, 0-1. Carson Pimley going yard in the first game of 2 last weekend against Central Point, his first home run of the season. The 0-1 sends one on a line to left field. Caught by the left fielder, and Meyer is tagging, looking to score. The throw in is not going to get there, and the Falcons lead by 2 on a sacrifice fly from Carson Pimley. Wasn't a home run, but it does his job, and Carson Pimley with an RBI, and his team leads 2. Max Price to bat now for the Falcons with a runner at second and 2 outs. Standing out there at second is still Corbin Hamilton. Bergdahl looks in, comes set, and the first pitch to Max Price. Misses upstairs, the count's 1-0. Price still looking for his first hit of the day. He has reached twice on errors, but he's 0 for 4. Mixed in with those errors, he's gone down on strikes twice. Here's the 1-0 to Price. Misses high and in. The count's 2-0. After Price, it's Connor Shively for the Falcons. Max keeps his hands low, his swing short, and relies on his speed to get on base. The 2-0 is in the zone outside. Price maybe a little bit displeased, shaking his head, but has to refocus. Still ahead in the count, 2-1. Pitch on its way from Bergdahl. That one misses wide. Almost got by postal weight. In fact, it did. And advancing to third is Corbin Hamilton. Thought that he might have snagged that one, but just popped out of his glove and rolled to the backstop. The count's 3-1 with 2 outs and a runner at third. The Falcons lead post 58, 7-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Price ahead 3-1. Again, Shively on deck. And now with a runner at third, Bergdahl will opt to throw from the windup. Here's the 3-1. Hit the opposite way, but well foul, and the count runs full with 2 outs in the 7th. Bergdahl looks in, gets the sign from Postlethwaite. Kicks and delivers. Fastball in the dirt, ball 4, and that'll put runners at the corners now for Connor Shively. Timeout on the field as we see Coach Kyle Baker emerge from the dugout one final time. He's got a ball in hand, and it looks like, well, I think that was just a foul ball he's bringing back in. See, it doesn't look like he's making a change quite yet. We'll find out. Want to, again, thank some of our sponsors here on MyBasin.com, including Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. They know that picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. Also want to give a shout out to the Pacific Power Foundation coming on board for this season of youth sports in the Basin. Pacific Power Foundation donated nearly $70,000 in 2024 to organizations like the Ross Ragland Theater, the UC Davis Foundation, and the Tule Lake Rotary Club. Looks like we will have a new pitcher for the Crushers, which means we'll step aside just briefly, as it looks like Oliver Hunt is going to get some warm-up tosses in before taking over in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Falcons lead the Crushers 7-5. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Bottom of the 7th inning, and the Crushers have a new pitcher. It is Oliver Hunt, the right-hander from Staten High School. Taking a look at the numbers for him this season, it is his second appearance. And this also coming in relief. 1 2/3 his last time out. Gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Struck out 2 and walked 2. ERA of 16.8, but again, a very small sample size. He'll be tasked with getting Connor Shively. There'll be runners at the corners for the Falcons. Hamilton at third, Price at first, and a 2-run lead for the Klamath Falls squad, again in the bottom of the 7th inning. Shively 2 for 4 today, and an RBI. I believe this is Shively's third multi-hit game of the season, third or fourth. He's been good in spurts this year, now trying to come up one more time with a runner 90 feet away. First pitch to Shively, first pitch swing and a miss. And the count is 0-1. After Shively, it is Jacoby Takini, the starting catcher for the Falcons, who waits on deck. Check of the runner at first is Price. Hunt comes set and delivers. The pitch that misses down and away to Shively, 1-1. The other changes for the Crushers include the former pitcher Bergdahl moving over to first. And, nope, pardon me, Bergdahl is going to short. What we had thought was going to be the changes, but Collier staying at first. So just a straight across swap there. Here's a bouncing ball out towards second, fielded with the glove and tossed onto first with the glove. How about that for Henry Briggs? A nice play there to get the Crushers out of that inning. But the Falcons do score 1 on 1 base hit, and they leave 2 stranded, carrying a 2-run lead to the top of the 8th on 104.3 and 960 Sports, mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
7-5 our score, and the Klamath Falls Falcons lead the post-58 Crushers in the top of the 8th inning. Quick check of the line score for these two teams. For the Falcons, 7 runs on 7 hits. They have committed 3 errors, and they have left 10 runners on base. For the Crushers, 5 runs on 6 hits. They've committed 5 errors, and they have left 6 runners on base through the first 7 innings. So Scotty Cummings due to bat now for the post-58 Crushers. Corbin Hamilton still on the mound for the Falcons. Came in relief of Colby Medeiros in the last half inning. We'll give you the final line score on Colby here in just a second. The first pitch home misses high. The count is 1-0 to Cummings. Hamilton working from the windup, ready to deliver. And it's a bouncing ball out towards short. Shively up with it. Throw on to Meyer in time. And 6-3 in the book. 1 out in the 8th. Just to finish up the thought about Colby and his 3 innings of work out of the bullpen, giving up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He struck out 2. Medeiros would be the winning pitcher if this lead for the Falcons holds. It's Hamilton's job to get it there, and I believe Hamilton would earn a save. That pitch misses down and away. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, though, and start chalking things up before they happen as Collier steps in. James Collier batting from the right side is ahead in the count 1-0. That pitch is going to miss in. The count now 2-0 to Collier, who is 0 for 1 today. Collier grounded out in the 6th inning. Came in as a replacement for Panook earlier in the ball game. Now takes ball 3 upstairs, 3-0. Temperatures dropped considerably as the sun has set here in the basin. Started the game about 75, now 68 degrees. I guess that's not too cold, all things considering, but a little bit of a breeze as the 3-0 is in there, 3-1. Hamilton looking for a 3-1 fastball that finds the outside. Good location to run the count full against James Collier. Here's the pitch from Hamilton. Swung on and missed. Hamilton picking up the strikeout for the second out in the 8th inning. And now we'll turn our attention to Miles Emmert. Emmert, class of 27 for Staten High School. Emmert today is 0 for 2. Sends one on a 2-hopper out to Shively. Shively had a little bit of trouble with it, but recovered. Not in time, though, to make the throws. Kind of an awkward hop to Shively out at second. That ball bounced just off the cut of the grass. And where Shively had his glove down to field it, it kind of hopped up belt level to him. He knocked it down, recovered, throw to first, unable, though, to make the play, and that'll go in the book as an error against Shively. And reaching first there was Emmert. Here's Oliver Hunt. First pitch to Hunt, called a strike, 0-1. It's the Falcons' 4th error of the contest. The 0-1 to Hunt. Hamilton delivers, goes with the slider that misses a bit low. The count is 1-1. Back to the top of the order next after Hunt. It's Colton Connolly. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one in the zone, strike 2. The firm fastball on the outside is Hamilton's go-to pitch to get ahead. His go-to pitch to set you down is the slider. We'll see where he goes now on the 1-2. Hamilton delivers. There's the slider, but it misses outside. The count's 2-2. Hunt singled and scored in the 3rd. Has since grounded out twice. Once in the 4th inning and once in the 6th inning. Faces a 2-2 count against Hamilton, and the pitch is going to bounce to the plate. Takini knocks it down, kicks away from him for a moment, but not letting it get behind him, which is the ticket for a good catcher like Jacoby is behind the plate. The count 3-2 to Oliver Hunt. Hunt with that wide batting stance closes it up a little bit in a 2-strike count, wanting to shorten up his swing. Here's the 3-2. Poked the other way. Could be trouble behind first. It'll get down and roll into foul territory. Rounding second and headed for third is Emmert, and he will get in there. A 2-out bloop single puts runners at the corners now for the top of the order. Tying run on base for Colton Connolly. Second hit of the day for Oliver Hunt, make him 2 for 2. And Colton Connolly bats. Connolly is 1 for 4 today, but his one hit came last inning when a leadoff triple allowed the Crushers to pull themselves within 1 at the time. Of course, the Falcons added a little bit of insurance. Now lead by 2, but Connolly, if he puts a ball in the gap like he did last time, you could see a tie ball game. It's up to Hamilton to try to find the final out of this inning, but Coach Connor up and out of the dugout. And are we going to see a new pitcher? And we see, I believe it was just a glove swap maybe for the shortstop there. They're going to keep Hamilton out there. Just a quick chat, maybe try to slow things down for Korb. But it is a fresh count to the leadoff hitter, Colton Connolly. Runner at first is Oliver Hunt. He represents the tying run. Miles Emmert is there at third. He reached on an error with 2 outs in the inning. And again, here's Connolly, who tripled and scored his last time up. After Connolly, if the inning continues, which Hamilton is hoping it doesn't, it's Bergdahl who waits on deck. Hamilton comes set, and the pitch is called a ball, 1-0. Misses below the knees, maybe a touch outside to Colton Connolly. Connolly will be a senior next fall at Staten High School, but was an all-state recipient this year. That pitch gets fouled off. The count is 1-1. Staten High School, as I said, made the playoffs, were eliminated in the opening round. Connolly, a big part of that. Now an opportunity to potentially tie the game for his team in the late going. 1-1 pitch from Hamilton is taken upstairs for a ball, 2-1. Hamilton, the right-hander, had a sub-2 ERA for Henley during the prep season. First-team all-conference pitcher comes set with the 2-1 and delivers. Ball 3, misses off the outside part of the plate. And Hamilton going to have to come into the zone against Connolly. You make a case for him being the team's best hitter for post 58. Big spot here for Corbin as he comes set. The 3-1 pitch is right down the middle for strike 2. Hamilton challenged Connolly on that 3-1 pitch. Connolly was probably looking for one pitch in one spot. Didn't expect the dead center fastball. Move over to first before we see a 3-2 pitch. They know that Hunt likely going to be on the move. Tried to maybe catch him leaning. But there's going to be some movement in the infield on a 3-2 count. Pitch from Hamilton. That one is called ball 4. Misses high, and the bases are loaded for Wade Bergdahl. Bergdahl with an RBI single in the 7th inning. Otherwise, he has walked, been hit by a pitch, and grounded out. But with the bases loaded and 2 away, at least to this point in the ball game, this is the biggest at-bat. Tying run in scoring position for post 58. Go-ahead run is on base at first. Wade Bergdahl to step in. He took over the pitching duties for the middle part of the game for post 58 and saw their lead evaporate. Now he's trying to reclaim it for his team as he takes ball 1 high, 1-0. Look at the stats for Bergdahl on the season. Bats .467 for post 58. So that pitch is in the zone. The count is even, a ball and a strike. Bergdahl's 6 RBIs puts him tied for the most on the team through their first 8 games of the year. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is taken for a strike as well. Off speed, outer third. Hamilton ahead, 1-2 to the Crushers shortstop. Hamilton from the windup with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch. It is hit strongly down the first baseline, foul. A little bit late on the fastball there was Bergdahl, but he stays alive, and the count is 1-2. Tall batting stance for Bergdahl, keeps his hands behind his head. Front leg pumping ahead of the 1-2 count. It is looked at for ball 2. That pitch wasn't anywhere near the strike zone. Low and away. Takini had to get down on his knees and block it to stop the runner from third, Emmert, from scoring. That's what Jacoby does best. Here's the 2-2. Hamilton delivers. Line drive, right side, foul. And so again, this battle continues at the plate. Fought off two-strike pitches did Bergdahl. And now Hamilton will have to offer up again from the windup. Here's the pitch. Roller towards second. Takini charging. That ball hit the runner, run into second, and he is out. And that will end the inning. Falcons catch a break and hold on to the lead. They leave 2 runners on base to get out of the inning. Going to the bottom of the 8th, up 7-5 on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Bottom of the 8th inning, the Falcons will look for some insurance, and it'll be the middle of their order to provide support. Jacoby Takini, Colin Takini, and P.J. Safford against Oliver Hunt in a game in which the Falcons lead 7-5. Flirting with a few runs in the last half inning was post 58. They got the bases loaded, but Corbin Hamilton able to maneuver himself out of that jam when Bergdahl rolled the ball out to second base, and the runner advancing to second. The ball hit his back foot, and so the Falcons, that play likely would have been a routine out at first, quite frankly, but still a good break there for Klamath Falls to hold on to the lead and get out of that last inning. Jacoby Takini steps in now against Oliver Hunt. He throws a pitch that bounces to the plate, and the count is 1-0. Jacoby today still without a base hit. He did reach on an error in the 3rd and walked in the 6th, and in that 6th inning, Chase Barrett, who courtesy ran for him, came around to score. The 1-0 pitch popped up right side behind first base. Looks playable for Collier in foul territory. He puts it away for the first out. Well, Oliver Hunt came in relief of Wade Bergdahl in the last inning for post 58 back in the 7th. So I want to give you the final line score on Bergdahl, who pitched 1 2/3 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, walking 3 and striking out 1. All right, here's Colin Takini. First pitch to Colin, offered up at and missed. He gets behind in the count. So far today for Takini, he is 1 for 4 with 2 RBI. Has flown out twice, but knocked in a run in a fielder's choice, and then a double in the 6th inning in which he would later score. Helped the Falcons build out their 7-5 lead. As he takes a pitch upstairs there, the count is 1-1. Oliver Hunt from the windup. A quick motion as he fires in ball 2. Missing below the knees to Takini there. And it's 2-1. After Colin, it's P.J. Safford in the order for the Falcons. Hunt delivers the pitch. That one's hit the opposite way to right field. Cummings giving chase, but that is going to be over his head, and extra bases for Tacchini. Tacchini ditches the helmet, rounding second. They're going to wave him into third. The throw into third is late, and Tacchini with a one-out triple. Big-time play there for Tacchini. Sent a shot over the right fielder's head to get on base with a triple with one out in the 8th inning. For Colin, his second extra base hit of the day, and I believe his first triple of the season. This will bring up P.J. Safford, who is 2 for 3 today. Safford with a single in the second and an RBI single in the 6th. Mixing a ground out in there as well. Infield in for post 58 as Safford takes strike one. Crusher's going to try to cut down Colin if he tries to break on a ground ball in the infield. Again, they trail by 2. Every run is valuable at this point in the ball game. Both teams know it. The 0-1 pitch to Safford. That one misses upstairs. The count is 1-1. After PJ in the Falcons order is Ian Meyer. Hunt, now from the stretch, delivers the 1-1. Safford a bit out in front of it, fouls it off. The count of ball and 2 strikes to PJ, who bats .400 for the Falcons. Has added 2 more hits today. And 10 of his 10 hits have been singles. Looking for more. Hunt gathers the sign in from postal weight and set. Here's the 1-2 to Safford. Safford chops it back towards the mound, fielded by the pitcher. The throw home is not going to be there. Tried to go home with it, but made a tough throw for the catcher postal weight. Tried to recover to apply the tag. But that'll be another run scored for the Falcons. They now lead 8-5. Meyer bats now. And Safford is aboard at first. Meyer tripled earlier in the ball game too, back in the 5th inning. First pitch to him misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. Safford reaching on a fielder's choice, takes his lead off of first, and the pitch to Meyer misses below the knees. The count is 2-0. Safford knocking in his second run of the game with that fielder's choice a moment ago, and his team leads by 3. Ian Meyer, along with that triple in the 5th, also walked to lead off the 7th and would come around to score in that inning as well. Line drive back up the middle. Planning on a hop is the second baseman Schwartz, and is able to make the throw on to first in time. Only reason he was even in position to make that play was because P.J. Safford was stealing second. So Schwartz, in an attempt to cover the bag with the stealing runner, was standing right there ready to field the line drive up the middle and throw Meyer out at first. All to say Safford is safe at second, and Corbin Hamilton bats now with 2 away and a runner in scoring position. Hamilton hits one to the right side. The right fielder over makes the catch. Cummings will end the inning. But the Falcons do score 1 after the leadoff triple from Colin Tacchini. Safford knocks him in, and the Falcons will try to finish it off in the top of the 9th with a 3-run lead. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Top of the ninth inning, and the Falcons looking to wrap up a win over Post 58. Corbin Hamilton on the mound. Standing in their way will be 3, 4, and 5 in the order for Post 58. It looks like it's, well, maybe I'm mistaken here. No, it will be 3, 4, and 5. It's going to be Tristan Garton, Wyatt Postlethwaite, and Henry Briggs. Corbin Hamilton would be in line for a save if he can record these final 3 outs. As Garton gets ready to step in, he is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Flew out back in the 7th inning, and he'll take ball 1 to start this at bat. Pitch from Hamilton on the way, the 1-0. That one finds the zone. The count is a ball and a strike on the outside part of the zone. And the count is even to Garton. Pitch from Hamilton. Checks his swing. That pitch missed. Pretty similar location to the last pitch. Did he go around checking on the umpire? No, he did not. Took us a couple times to get down there and ask him. But, yeah, finally we decided that no, he did not go around, and it's 2-1. Hamilton. The pitch is hit the opposite way. High fly ball right field. Moving over is Carson Sims. Puts that one away near the foul line for the first out. Wyatt Postlethwaite batting now for the Crushers. Postlethwaite singled in the 5th. Otherwise, he has walked, been hit by a pitch, and struck out. Hamilton delivers the first pitch to Postlethwaite. Misses high. The count is 1-0. Postlethwaite just graduating from Silverton. Pitch is hit out to short. It eats up Shively. It takes a bad hop and got him in the side of the head and rolls into center field. And that's going to go in the book as a base hit. Can't do anything to control that hop to Shively. That was a nasty one. Took it right off the side of his face, and so Colin's going to go over and chat with him. Corbin's there as well. PJ want to make sure he's okay, and now we see Coach Teeters come on out. That wasn't a great moment at all. Shively's up and walking around. I think knowing Shively, he's going to want to stay in the game, but we're going to take a moment to make sure that he is okay as Postlethwaite reached on the single. And looks like Shively's going to come on out of the game. We'll see who they have replace him at short. I think it's going to be Max Price, perhaps. All right, so we're going to have Max Price come in. Carson Sims is going to move over to center. Chase Barrett is going to take his place in right, or so it seems. Now the question is who plays what position in the infield? I think we're going to have Price going to short. Was curious if they were going to put Price at second and have Takini move over to short, or if they just have Price patrol that area over there, and that's what they're going to do. All right, so runner at first. Again, just the changes for you with Shively exiting the game there. Chase Barrett has entered the game. He will actually go to left field. Carson Sims is in center. Carson Pimley is in right. Max Price has come in to play short, and here's Henry Briggs. Briggs is 0 for 1 today, struck out in the 7th inning. Bats here with the runner aboard at first and 1 out in the top of the 9th. His team trails 8-5. The pitch is taken inside. The count is 1-0. Corbin Hamilton going to have to make shorter work of these last 2 outs if he hopes to finish out the ball game. This will be pitch number 52 for Corb. And here's a ground ball to short. This could do it. Price knocks it down and then picks it up and loses it on the transfer. And both runners safe as Postlethwaite advances to second. Briggs is safe on the error. And that will bring up the right fielder, Scotty Cummings. Now, Cummings represents the tying run at the plate for the Crushers after that error. 2 runners are on base. And Cummings is 0 for 1 today. 0 for 2 as he struck out in the 6th, then grounded out in the 8th. Takes a pitch outside there. The count is 1-0. Runner at second, Postal Wait with a modest lead, not much. The pitch home is called a strike. The count is 1-1. A firm inside fastball there for Korb evens up the count. On deck is James Collier. And the pitch called a strike. Count the ball in 2 strikes. Hamilton now from the stretch. Looks in to get the sign from Tacchini and comes set. Tacchini sets up outside, and the pitch is swung on and missed, and that's a big second out as Cummings goes down on strikes, bringing up James Collier. He is the last hope for the Crushers in this ball game, represents the tying run. Collier is 0 for 2 today. He grounded out in the 6th, struck out in the 8th. Pitch there misses outside, and the count 1-0 to Collier. Hamilton looking in. Again, not much of a lead to speak of off second for Postlethwaite, and the 1-0 home misses. The count 2-0. Hamilton not needing to pay all that much attention to Postlethwaite at second. Of course, the only run that truly matters is standing at the plate right now in a 2-0 count. 2 outs, top of the 9th, Falcons lead by 3. Here's the pitch. Taken for a strike, 2-1. Guy over at first, Henry Briggs, taking a very aggressive lead on the other side of this with no one holding him there. And they're definitely not worried about him. He's about 8 or 9 steps off the first base bag for the 2-1. Popped up out of play foul. And the count is 2-2. And just like that, the Crushers are down to their final strike of the ball game. Hamilton looking in. Gonna come set. Takes a look at the runner at second. Now focuses back home. Here's the 2-2. High fly ball, deep center field. Sims goes back, gets under it to make the catch. And that is the ball game. The Klamath Falls Falcons end their homestand on an 8-5 win against the Post 58 Crushers. We're going to step aside one time and get ready for our post-game show here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. Stick around. The Falcons win 8-5.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I love to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon, soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
Final score here from Kiger Stadium. The Klamath Falls Falcons with an 8-5 win against the Post 58 Crushers. For the Falcons, 8 runs on 9 hits. They commit 5 errors. They leave 11 runners on base. For Post 58, 5 runs on 9 hits. They also commit 5 errors, and they leave 9 runners on base. The winning pitcher, the right-hander from Bonanza, Colby Medeiros, who pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, and he struck out 2. The losing pitcher today is Wade Bergdahl, who pitched 1 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. All of those earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. The save goes to Corbin Hamilton, who pitched the final 3 innings, giving up 4 hits, no runs. He struck out 4 in this win for the Falcons. Couple of notables for Klamath Falls. Let's go from the top. A 2-for-5 day for Connor Shively and an RBI, giving our best to Connor Shively, who had a ground ball bounce off his face in the middle part of that ball game. Actually, in the final inning, I believe it was. Hoping that he's okay. We'll see if he's going to be with us tomorrow in Grants Pass. Colin Tacchini was 2-for-5 today as well with a double, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. PJ Safford 2-for-4, couple of runs batted in for him as well. Corbin Hamilton was 2-for-5 with an RBI and a double as well for the Falcons. Some notables for Post 58. Connolly was 1-for-4. His 1 triple scored him a run in that inning. He scored another run elsewhere in the ball game, was 1-for-4 with 2 runs scored. Wade Bergdahl was 2-for-3 with 2 RBI in the contest. Let's see, one more was 1-for-3. Schwartz finished 1-for-3 and an RBI for him. With this win, the Klamath Falls Falcons improve on the season to 6-2 overall. The Crushers fall to 4-5. Up next for Post 58, they're going to a tournament, I believe, in Nevada, but they are getting ready to play in that tournament the day after tomorrow. For the Klamath Falls Falcons, back to area play tomorrow. They'll be on the road in Grants Pass at Agnew Lytle Field at the All Sports Park, and that doubleheader will begin at 5 o'clock, which you can follow right here on mybasin.com or listen locally on 104.3 and 960 Sports. But again, once again, the final in this one, 8-5. The Klamath Falls Falcons win their final home game in the month of June. Want to thank everybody responsible for making tonight's broadcast possible. Both head coaches, Sean Teeters for the Klamath Falls Falcons and Kyle Baker for the Canyon Crushers of State and Oregon, for making sure that we had stats and numbers and lineups and all the great things before the game today. And, of course, our stadium announcer, official scorekeeper, and all-around great guy Mike Stafford for making sure I know what I'm talking about up here in the box and make sure that everyone knows what's going on. Once again, 8-5, the final for the Klamath Falls Falcons as they defeat the Post 58 Crushers at Kiger Stadium. Hope to see you tomorrow in Grants Pass, and whether it's then or later on down the line, well, so long and good night from Kiger Stadium in Klamath Falls.